Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Why in God's name did I think this was a good idea? Oh well! Off we fuck!
Get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Hi, and welcome to the jam! Come on and slam if you want to jam! Hi! Ah! Hey, you, what you gonna do? 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 You know, so, what you see your ass, huh? I'll be fake, come on, baby boy, so just jam! All in your face, what's up? Just with the bass, rock it down the room, shake it, make it space boom, just like that body, with that body, make sure you don't hurt nobody. Back, they can fade overtime. Hey, DJ, turn it up! Turn it up! Get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. Feel right. We gotta take it into overtime. Welcome to the Space Jam. Jam, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. That's a hoop. There it is. Oh, the fella saying hoop. There it is. Lady saying hoop. There it is. Oh, your fella saying hoop. There it is. Oh, come on and run, baby, run. Come on, do it. Run, baby, run. Yeah, you wanna hoop. So shoot, baby, shoot. Yeah, it's time to hoop. So shoot, baby, slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you want to jam. Slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you want to jam. Yeah, get up the funky jam. Microphone, you got me in the zone. Something on the thing, you can't be your name. The first goes the back, and then come just the height. That's a fun jam on it. Yeah. It's so come on, baby, just jam it, baby. Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. A real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Dance at the Space Jam. Alright. In the air, you feel right. You gotta take it into overtime. Welcome to the Space Jam. The Space Jam. Let's start. You wanna know why? It's Sunny Jam. Let's start. You wanna know why? It's on the Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I am proud to present what is probably going to be one of my stupidest ideas for stream in recent memory. Tonight, we are going to be attempting a hellish challenge of my own design. That being the Library of Ruina.
Nuzlock. Now, you're all... Oh, why the game you want to capture? Ah. So, you're all probably wondering, what the hell does a Nuzlock entail for Library of Ruina? Well, if you've seen me talking about this in my Discord, I have kind of worked things out a little bit, but TLDR, how it's going to work, every librarian, like every key page in the game, including the librarian's default state, which isn't technically a key page, but I'm counting it as one for the purposes of this challenge. Essentially, if you lose with that key page, you're no longer allowed to use it. This includes the librarian's default page, so if I lose without them having a key page equipped, they are forced to equip one. And other than that, the only rules are like, you know, if a character has a key page forced onto them, like Bina or the Black Silence, then I am going to allow myself multiple tries to those characters, only because I don't want to have my run ruined by ending up with, like, shit RNG during the few fights that Roland has to do solo. But, yeah. Oh, and for those of you who are going to be worried about my save file, don't worry. I have it all backed up and everything. So with that, let us begin. I go out to the street, my hands in my pockets. Scene 1, Kennard.
아직 이곳을 나갈 수는 없어. 끝까지 나는 자유롭지 못하네.
So, this game, for those of you that have not seen like a playthrough of Library of Ruina before, this game takes place... What the? Huh. I just noticed that. And apparently Twitch did a weird update, so now there's like a... Well, But, yeah. For those of you that aren't aware of the story of Library of Ruina, this is taking place right after Lobotomy Corporation, so...
안 된다는 거야.
We'll meet the character who is monologuing here very shortly. It's so funny going back to like the earlier cutscenes in this game with late game knowledge. It's so funny. Damn it, the purple tear. Can't believe this is how she handled it. What the hell happened? What's all this smoke? Guess I'll have to trust her.
한 번만 말할게.
I'll only say this once. I despise verbose and roundabout speech that doesn't get straight to the point. So don't try to get wordy, just answer my questions. You don't get to question me either. Where'd you come from, and how'd you enter this place, and for what purpose? Well, who are you to... Oh boy, I'm suddenly getting all nauseous. Oh, my leg! Yeah, Angela isn't putting up with anyone's shit here. I warned you, and you crossed the line. Let me ask you one more time. Where did you come from? How did you enter this place? And for what purpose? I was just walking around and ended up here before I even realized it. I have no idea how I got here. Damn it, blood's gushing out of my right leg. I swear I wasn't trying to trespass. I don't even know where this is. I woke up around 1 p.m. and started walking around the streets of District 13. Since I was just out and about, I figured I'd go wherever I wanted. So I decided to stop by Ham Ham Pang Pang. Heard they serve a weekly special sandwich. Anyway, I had bills to pay, got no jobs, had to make a living somehow. It was a one-man off. You dragged on too long. I'll be taking your left arm and left leg next. Yeah, at the beginning of this game, Angela just gave 0 shits. Just an ordinary fixer has hit rock bottom. The hell is this place, and who are you? Oh, come on, taking 2 limbs at once is cheating. I'm the one asking the questions. Your name? Roland. Good. Welcome to the library. We've yet to serve any guests, but then you suddenly appeared out of nowhere. It took me quite a bit of effort designing this library to ensure that no uninvited guests could enter, you see. Damn it, these limbs were all I had. I don't have any cash or mortgages to get new ones anymore. Seems he's fainted. Wake up. My legs! My arms! Wait, they're all intact again? You should be able to swing your arms and walk again, and I made a few readjustments to your body to make it a bit easier to use. Although you did trespass in my library, I also took your limbs away without your consent, so I'm giving you these as an apology. You did trespass, but I also took your limbs without consent, so I'm giving you your limbs back. Fair's fair. I'm quite patient and generous, you see. Uh-huh. Yeah, alright. Sure, Angela, sure. Patient my ass. Am I really supposed to be thankful for this? And your warning isn't in effect anymore, right? Nope, not anymore. Had a few thoughts while you were knocked out. And here's my conclusion. You'll help me out here. What, huh? Do syndicates these days kidnap people this way too? Or is this one of the wings? I heard rumors they abduct test subjects from here and there for singularity research. Acquaintance of mine apparently began jumping between dimensions as a side effect of one of those experiments. My life really is an unlucky mess. This is a library. I don't know the syndicates you're talking about, but this place isn't a wing at least. Doesn't really matter. Whatever the case, I'm trapped here and you'll exploit me, right? Yes, I am letting you live for two reasons. First, I need an analysis of how you can enter this place uninvited. Sending you back or neglecting you without knowing the reason could pose a significant threat to the library. Well, it's not like you can leave without my permission anymore. Second, from now on, I will collect books about the city in search of the one absolute book. And I want you to help me with this process. Since you are a resident of the city, I expect you to be helpful in various ways. I knew this would happen to me someday. Anyways, meet our protagonist, Roland. Your average, everyday grade 9 fixer with nothing special about him whatsoever. Don't be too concerned about your life. You're not allowed to die here unless I permit you to. Damn it, so this was a crazy laboratory sort of deal. Do you like shove random stuff like corn kernels and clockwork into people's stomachs and turn them into walking popcorn skewing popcorn machine men or something? Gotta be the worst, much rather die to be over with. Spout such nonsense one more time, I'll gladly turn you into a human popcorn machine as you so wish. I've already gone through so many cycles of bullshit, or are you responding to every bit of meaningless rubbish? Sorry, ma'am. Let me introduce myself properly. My name is Angela. I am the head librarian and director of this library. Angela. That's a good name. So what am I supposed to do? Your role is to welcome guests invited to the library. I will carefully determine what guests to invite and write an invitation accordingly. You will entertain the guests once they accept the invitation and arrive at the library. Since you have actual experience working as a fixer, I'm sure you'll be able to give the various types of guests a much better reception than I could. I'm just a washed-up grade 9 fixer, though. What's this reception all about anyway? Do I catch their eyes or be a waiter for them or something? It's simple. You just have to deal with the guests. In a physical manner, of course. The library presents the guests with an ordeal. Books will open up in the process. Guests who have overcome the ordeal will be deemed worthy to earn their books. There is the possibility you die in the process of reception, but it's only temporary. You'll get back up when the library closes. Unless we run out of key pages, then as per the given challenge by the funny streamer, we will be dead permanently, and the library will close forever. What do you mean, run out of key pages? It's fine, don't worry about it. No one here may rest without my permission. Do you happen to have some weird fantasies about fixers? Aren't you expecting too much from a grade 9? Not as talented as you seem to think, you know. That's none of my business. I've prepared a manual for you, so go ahead and figure things out by yourself. I can get the gist of it now. So how does this invitation work exactly? Open up the invitation and register the books you wish to serve to your guests. The next, the invitation will be naturally sent to those who need the books. That's it? Sounds a bit too easy. Invitations are a carefully crafted work of mine, much like the library. Think of it as a compass. Would be easier to understand that way. Is it a tool that tells directions? That's right. Invitations will guide me towards the one book that I truly wish to obtain. Sometimes the invitation may turn red according to the books you've registered. The invitation indicates it can be sent to special guests who will unravel the next part of the story. Until we register the books that match the red invitation wants, our journey will be halted for a bit. There's no guarantee that the guest will always respond to the invitation, right? In fact, there is. They're destined to come, and guests will accept the invitation of their own will and enter the library. That's surprisingly polite and fair for something that takes place in this city. Most of the time, people's lives are taken away by others without consent or agreement. So, yeah. Library. Angela wants to complete the library by filling in the spaces with books. She'll eventually get the one perfect book that completes her. But, yeah. While the intro is playing, because I really want to show off this game's intro, I'll go ahead and explain the rules of the Nuzlock, as I have outlined in my, as I outlined a little while ago in my Discord. 1. Dying with a key page equipped, whether it be, equipping the key page onto a character, or if they're just fighting without a key page at all, like just in their default state, if they die in it, they can't use that again. Whether it be them using their default state or using that particular key page. The game gives you a limited number of copies of each key page, so we can't like infinitely farm for retries. Attributed key page, meaning key pages sharing their abilities with other ones, are not lost when a key page that it's attributing its abilities to is killed. That way we can attribute key pages abilities that might be necessary for later builds without having to worry about like, oh, but this key page like this passive got killed off without me even using that key page, etc., etc. And then I mentioned like the Bina clause. If a character is forcibly equipped with a key page, then like Bina and the Black Silence, then we don't have to worry about like losing them if we die with them. However, if we run out of key pages besides them, then that is a game over. Ow. Thank you, Z. The other thing that I might do later in the series is that I'm only going to allow cosmetic mods, because, you know, it's a bit boring to be looking at the same fucking rat outfit the entire game. And also, the run only properly starts once we acquire our first key page, though I don't even remember if it's possible to lose in the tutorial. Anyways, meet our first opponents, the rats. These are the lowest of the low in the city. They are the homeless. Only unlike homeless in real life, they don't just mug you for your wallet. They mug you for your organs. We have come across 3 rats here currently attempting to steal some dude's organs to sell. However, they seem to be having a bit of trouble. Seems like somebody's organs might have been replaced in a way that the rats weren't too happy with. Oh, and also, in case you're wondering, this game is Korean in origin, so because of that, there's going to be a fair amount of Korean text in the game, and then also all of the voice acting is in Korean. You get used to it after a while. But yeah, we're meeting up with 3 rats, Pete, Mangchi, and Lenny. Essentially, like I said, the homeless of the city attempting to mug someone for their organs. Bold one going for a gut harvested territory managed by the Zwei. We will learn more about the Zwei in the future. Only jobs we have left. Have to climb up by any means necessary, whatever it takes. You know my dream, right? To become one of the fingers of the back streets. Which, fun fact, you actually fight the leaders of some of the fingers later in the game, and you actually get an achievement for killing them with his key page. It's very fitting. Sell off these guts we've hauled first. Gotta prepare enough cash to offer to the stray dogs. True, this could be our chance to join an urban legend class syndicate. Alright, time to check out the harvest. Hey, is this a joke? You sure you scraped up the right stuff? Told you the guy didn't have a single proper organ inside him. Expected, soaked in drugs like enkephalin at worst. Oh yeah, enkephalin was the energy resource that we generated back in Lobotomy Corporation. And now it's being brought up here. Turns out it's not only a potent energy source, but also a very addictive drug. These are damaged too badly. It's almost like someone already blew them up. We only doused him with anesthetics, didn't do no harm. Doesn't make sense. How could he have even walked around with these messed up organs? Well, if he's one of those, you know, rumors say there's a guy who skewers and threads people alive to turn them into dolls. That is a character that we will also meet later. Yeah, I've heard of that too, but look at the state of these things. Not the case at all. Here those dolls are made by threading flesh and bones together, but this son of a bitch didn't have any scars or stitches showing. There was a round orange symbol on the back of his neck. Thought it was a tattoo, but he didn't seem like the type to have one. He was a desk-working dweeb. Symbols? Tattoos? Damn it, please don't tell me we poked the wrong beehive. Besides that, he also had this envelope in his body. What the hell is an envelope doing in a human body? Give me that! Invitation to a library? Books? We can get books from the library? What a bunch of nonsense. Flop after all. Payments due tomorrow. Got 7 hours to be exact. Too little time for another run of gut harvesting. We're heading to the library as the invitation says. Don't know what this book thing is, but we're out of options. Gotta take any chance we can get. Isn't this just suicide? We don't know what kind of place it might be. Can't be any worse than dying to the stray dogs of the Zwei Association. We're screwed anyway. Shut up and follow me if you want to live. What was that we just saw? Fragments of the invitation process. We can take a peek at the stories of our upcoming guests. This is how the game delivers most of its world building and lore about the characters. Didn't take you for a peeping Tom. More convenient to know what kind of guests will visit us in advance, isn't it? Besides, it's the invitation's will, not mine. Splendid thing you got there, ma'am. Prize upon people and kidnaps them too. A perfect tool for crimes. The invitation can do all that, why don't we skip the whole reception part? Can't we just teleport them right into a room full of traps or something? I cannot do that. We can only take a peek when it has been decided that the guests are coming here of their own volition. And the invitation's power isn't wholly mine either, I'm simply borrowing it. Yeah, no way anything can go smoothly in this city. They're desperate guests. Tell me, was the invitation responsible for that symbol and the internal damage as well? What? Not a chance. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened. The invitation simply finds a way to those who need it. That means those weird happenings were someone else's doing. Never seen this phenomenon back from when I was a fixer. It's kind of like something from the ruins. Ruins? I don't know a whole lot either, only heard stories of it. Should I describe it as magic? That kind of stuff exists in the ruins, apparently. Well, in any case, we simply greet our guests. They seem to be low class, but oh well. Those are probably a bunch of lowly gangsters from the back streets. Call them rats. Groups of half-assed thugs that barely even qualify as a syndicate. They don't have money or power. They're losers who only think about making ends meet day by day. Might have just roasted myself there. The back streets. I know of them. You do? Someone I know is from the back streets. Well, that's nothing special, really. Back streets stretch all over the city like veins. Heck, it might actually be tougher to find someone who isn't from the back streets. So this is a library. Looks fancier than I thought. Could be a bunch of valuable things here. Greetings, dear guests. This is the library, and I'm Angela, the librarian of my role's namesake. You may find what you desire here. You may also end up yielding your precious possessions to us. The owner of this place, we're allowed to take whatever we want here, right? Indeed, you may earn books to be exact, if you're able, of course. Those book things really worth a whole lot, though? Of course they can be, if the information they hold is valuable. Dang cheap beggars can't be choosers, we gotta cling on to anything we can find. May you find your book in this place, then. Alright, so we got our first bit of information. We are going to be playing as Roland, the patron librarian of the General Works. And, now that we have him, I don't know if I can pull this up on screen, but I have an entire fucking Excel spreadsheet of every single key page available in the game that I could use to track whether or not the person is alive or dead. starting with all of like the General Works pages and then going down from there. So I'll post a screenshot of it in my Discord at the end of the first stream, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I do have I am keeping track of all this in a bit of a crackhead way, but you know. So anyways, we can take a look at all of our cards down here that we're going to be using for combat, and notably we can also take a look at the enemy's cards so we can see what they're going to be attacking with as well. These guys' cards aren't really very useful. We'll get stronger versions of these cards after we beat them, but at the moment, their versions of the cards are significantly weaker because, well, you know, this is our first fight. You know, they gotta make it easy for us. Anyways, let us begin. The text describes the ability of the page, usually activated upon use. In combat, there are 3 types of offensive dice, each corresponding to a different damage type. Slash damage, pierce damage, and blunt damage. Enemies will have different weaknesses and resistances to each type of damage. The ability of an action die, written on its right, may activate when the die is played based on the condition. Most abilities activate when the attack hits the target or the die wins in the clash against an opposing die. The combat pages use a resource called light. The amount of light a character currently has is indicated by the number of yellow icons above them. So, you press the space bar, and that rolls your speed dice. The speed dice determines the turn order. And then you also get to see the combat pages in your librarian's hand. So, let's see. We've got Bite Off, Dirty Blow, and Gut Harvesting. All of the enemies seem to only be using one move for now, so I'm going to start with a light attack. By pressing Q or clicking the icon, you can toggle Quick Mode. Quick Mode just automatically rolls the dice, and there's also an auto page select thing as well. And you can even show the individual, you can even show the different like individual things going on, like who's attacking what and everything. It's very useful. But yeah, we press the spacebar, and we watch combat play out. When only one of the 2 opposing characters has a dice to play, a one-sided attack occurs. Happens when a character targets an enemy that isn't targeting them back. Only offensive dice are played in one-sided attacks. Defensive ones will be retained until the scene ends or an enemy attempts a one-sided attack. This is important to note, because sometimes it might actually be useful to use a defensive attack against an enemy one-sidedly, so that if your character is going to get attacked by multiple opponents, you can have the defensive dice ready for them. It's very useful. When both characters in an engagement have dice to play, a clash occurs. This usually occurs when the speed dice of 2 characters target each other. Retained defensive dice or counter dice may also cause a clash. Counter dice we will learn about later. In a clash, the results of actions are determined by comparing the rolls. The offensive dice can only deal damage equal to the roll by winning the clash. Interactions between defensive dice follow the rules on the next page. Block dice. If you win a clash against an offensive dice, you completely block the damage and deal stagger to the attacker. If you lose it, you mitigate the incoming damage. If you win against a defensive dice, then you deal stagger. For an evade dice, if you win against an offensive die, you completely negate the damage and the die is retained. If you tie a clash versus an offensive dice, then it completely negates the damage and the evade die is lost. If you win a clash against a defensive die, then the character recovers stagger resist. How goes the Nuzlocking? We just started. Not very much has happened, but yeah. Characters have 2 different values at the bottom of the screen. Their health value and their stamina. Yeah, character may inflict or receive 2 types of damage, physical damage and stagger damage. Stagger damage reduces their stagger resist, which is the yellow gauge, whilst when the stagger gauge hits 0, the character falls into a staggered state. They cannot act, and they will also receive lethal damage from every type of attack, meaning that attacks are going to do significantly more damage and they're going to hurt a lot more. They also can't draw pages at the beginning of the next scene or restore light at the beginning of the next scene. And also, a character restores 1 light upon staggering an opponent, which can lead to a very tables turning style situation where you just cascade upon your enemy kind of thing. Anyways, our opponent here seems to be going for a skitter away, so let's attack them with a charge and cover. As you can see, we were able to stagger them, and then that defensive die was retained for the second attack. Also, God, the music is so good. I turned the game volume down previously, but I gotta turn it up again because this is so good. God, I love this song, man. Library of Ruina has an absolutely phenomenal soundtrack that I definitely recommend you listen to in your spare time. Anyways, let's give the big guy a few focus strikes, shall we? And it one-shot him. I know this is the tutorial, but Jesus. Anyways, taking physical damage reduces the character's HP indicated by the red gauge. When the HP of a librarian or a guest is brought down to 0, they die. Guests who meet their demise in the library are resolved into books. The higher the guest's emotion level, the more likely they are to yield books in greater quantity or quality upon death. If a librarian dies, they will rise once more once the reception is over. That last line is a lie. We're doing a Nuzlock. Pretend that line doesn't exist. I outlined the rules of the Nuzlock at the beginning of the stream. Pretend that doesn't exist. Anyways, you'll notice that now we have an additional light. This is because of the emotion level of the character. Essentially, when certain actions are performed, like dealing damage in a one-sided attack, taking damage in a one-sided attack, winning or losing clashes, etc., you get emotion coins. After a certain number of emotion coins, your emotion level increases. This ends up changing some of your character's abilities. Like, for example, we can get increased max light, allowing us to play more pages, allowing us to play higher cost pages more in a row. And, notably, at emotion level 4, we gain an additional speed die, which is very helpful. Because, you know, it's more attacks. And more attacks means more killing. But yeah, there are a lot of small little elements that tie into things like the emotion system and everything that can give the game a very easy, like, that can make the game very easily cascade, for lack of a better term. Like, you just keep going and going and going. Alright, curtain call for the reception of the rats. Rats, rats, we are the rats, celebrating yet another birthday bash. Anyways, you can check the books you have obtained from the reception here. If you have failed it, this part will show the books you have lost instead. In addition, you can also gain battle symbols from librarians that have obtained the reception there. The battle symbols are essentially things you can equip to a librarian to change their cosmetic appearance. And it also gives them minor stat increases. I wonder, is it so important for them to belong to a renowned syndicate? It's all part of the city life. You have to belong to a group, be it a syndicate or anything else. Living in the city gets too tough otherwise. Anyways, we now have the option to burn books. And there is an achievement in this game for burning a certain number of books called Alexandria Simulator. Burn 100 books in total. Alexandria Simulator. Yeah, a lot of the achievement names in this game are shitposts, but anyways, by burning a book, we are able to gain access to several things, notably combat pages. These are the pages that you can use for attacks, and key pages. Key pages indicate stats. The key pages of a book indicate they can change up your character's stats, give them new passives, stuff like that. And they are also what's going to be our lifeline in this Nuzlock. So from burning this one book, yeah, rarity of the pages range from paperback to hardcover, limited, and object to art. We get 5 copies of any paperback book, 4 copies of any hardcover, 3 copies of any limited, and 1 object to art copy. So, as you can see, we have now unlocked a grand total of 5 new characters. You want to burn all except one book, as you do need copies of the books in order to invite other guests. Anyways, I believe if I check, you can see your currently equipped combat pages and all the combat pages you have. Yes, okay, so we do have 5 copies of each. We've obtained the basic pages. These don't really they don't really have anything special. The only thing that changes is their weaknesses and resistances. All their stats are exactly the same, but they are better than the current stats. So, we press equip, and the librarian takes on the appearance of the character whose page that we're using, as well as their fighting style and mannerisms. It's really neat. Anyways, now we get access to all the fancy new key pages we've got. Now you'll notice that if we unequip this key page here, we actually do have a set number of key pages. The 111-222-333 dynamic is one that is definitely a good solid foundation for deck building. So it's one that I'm going to be using a lot in the early game. Gonna be doing 2 copies of Backstreet Dash, 1 copy of Skitter Away. Gonna do 2 copies of Dirty Blow, 1 copy of Rat's Guide to Survival. More often than not, the rarity of a combat page does tend to dictate its effectiveness in combat, but not to a massive degree. Anyways, we have a new invitation to send out, now that we have acquired the Book of the Rats. So, we send out an invitation featuring the Book of the Rat Bastards, and here we are. Foiled again. Didn't go through all the trouble of becoming a fixer to do mundane chores like this. Introducing the Fixers of Yun's office. They're a small little fixer office in their corner of the back streets, doing their best to try to keep things better for everyone, make things better for everyone else. Here we find them searching for a lost cat.
열심히 하다 보면 언젠가 괜찮은 사무소로
Finn's
이적하거나
being very optimistic.
주머니
Finn's being very optimistic.
게다가 적힌 말대로라면
흥미로운 건
And they seem to have
사실이지만
found one of the
우선 사무소에
invitations.
해결사라는데
The other
아는
fixers
사람이야?
are not going to report this to their office and are instead going to charge in headfirst. Call themselves fixers. Do you happen to be friends with them? What? Look, assuming all fixers know each other is it's like picking 2 random pedestrians and hoping they know each other. The question's basically asking these 2 strangers, you're both humans, you must know each other, right? I should expect to see many different kinds of fixers if what you're saying is true. Pretty much. Anyways, we now have our next 2 opponents. Some bottom-of-the-barrel Yun's office fixers who look nothing like their silhouettes of the cutscene, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah, here we go. As the battle progresses, emotional tension of librarians and guests will be heightened. Positive emotion points gained upon winning a clash or having advantages in battle like defeating an enemy. Negative emotion points are gained upon losing a clash or suffering disadvantages like losing an ally. As the emotional levels of characters rise, the overall emotion of the teams they belong to are heightened. When your team's emotion level goes up, you may choose an abnormality page to use at the beginning of the next scene. That is a mechanic that we will talk about later. Anyways, let's get back to the more important things, like gut harvesting. Yeah, you don't... Most of these key pages can, like, easily take out the smaller characters, so you don't need to worry too much about, like, heavily conserving your light during the early game. Especially when, like, just gut harvesting itself as a card is so, like, it's so blatantly overpowered for the early game that you can, like, overpower most, like, weak enemies with it. Or at least for, like, the very, very beginning of the game. Anyways, we get some grade 9 fixer books. And we can now burn them for some new resources. Going to burn all but one of them, of course. And we're moving up in the world. We now have access to new key pages. Notably, these ones come with a passive. As you can see here, Slash of a grade 9 fixer. 50% chance to boost slash damage by 1. I am definitely going to go and swap that onto Roland. You gotta take whatever you can find in this. You gotta take whatever you can find on this bitch of an earth. We also got some new cards. But they're all regular green cards, so they're not exactly the best. But Preparation is a very good card because on win it restores light. So I am going to do 2 copies of that along with a copy of Backstreet's Dash. Yeah, and again, like I mentioned, you do have to take note of the damage type. Remember, 50% chance to boost slash damage. So actually, because of that, what I am going to do is I'm going to take out some copies of Dirty Blow and replace them with Preemptive Strike. Gut Harvesting is going to work fine because that one's still also slash damage. And unfortunately, we don't really have any good one-cost slash cards. But we do have Bite Off, so I will swap that in. Anyways, now, some invitations will have multiple chapters. Like, for example, since we just took out a bunch of grade 9 fixers, we're going to send out their book.
시간이 꽤 흘렀는데도 소식이
Sir, they still
없어요.
haven't responded back to us. Something must have happened in the
지도새도
library.
모르는 사이에
Plenty of fixers
자취가
disappear without a
삽시가
trace.
뜬
Whether
간에
they died or
연락이
ran off,
없다니.
further lack of
계약
response means a
위반으로
violation of
사무소에서
contract.
제명이야.
They're facing expulsion from my
그리고 네가
office.
말한 초대장
There's too little evidence to back up your
증거
claim about this
종이에 서명하자
invitation.
문이 생기고 그곳으로 걸어 들어갔다니. 부자놈들의 장난이나 날 우리 그렇자
Oh wait, damn
당장
it, that's
눈앞에서
the
증거를 보여줄
that's
수도
the
없는
fast
일.
forward. I thought it was the auto
시작할
progress
가치조차 없어.
cutscene option. My bad. Is there even like an autoplay cutscene option? I don't know if there is. Oh, there we go.
그럼 대표님 앞에 놓인 그 봉투는
I'm gonna
뭐죠?
autoplay the cutscenes while I'm
Wow.
updating my
송이 자식.
while I'm updating the pages we just got.
전 정말 아무것도 하지 않았어요.
잠깐 나가 있어. 여기 윤 사무소다. 이번에야말로 촉이 왔어. 애들 붙이게 전 좀 땡겨줘. 아니, 이번에는 느낌이 나쁘지 않다니까? 네 말대로 허사일 수 있긴 하지. 내 쪽에서 한 번 더 확인해 볼 수는 있어. 썩 내키는 방법은 아니지만. 그래.
Anyways,
적합한 녀석이 한 명이.
해결사는
anyways, Yun is sending a small child into the
일을
library to
시작하지도
die.
못하나 보네.
Seems fixers must report to their helper offices
나
first.
같은 경우는
Well, it's formerly the case. I
일인
get bypassed once as I ran a one-man office, though. Fixers aren't any better than syndicates when it comes to greed.
보아하니 세상 물정 모르는
So
꼬마까지
this guy's trying to
이용하려는
exploit a
것
naive kid, too.
와, 이곳이 도서관.
Anyways, here's
대표의
Finn.
말대로면
Finn's gonna
이런 일을 통해
die.
협회 후원도 노려볼 수 있다고 했지? 제대로 한번 해보자.
환영합니다, 해결사 손님.
Normally,
저는
Finn would be the
도서관의
protagonist of any
관장이자
other video game,
엔젤라입니다.
안녕하세요.
but he isn't the
저는 윤사무소의
protagonist.
해결사 핀입니다.
He's a low-level
저-
enemy. We're going to crush his hopes and
정말 많은 정보가
dreams.
담긴 책이라는 것을 구할 수 있는 것인가요?
네, 그럼요. 당신이 초대장을 받고 이곳에 왔다는 것은 부디 당신의 책을 찾으실 수 있기를.
Anyways, we got our Yun's office page. We're going into a fight against Finn. Let us begin. Anyways, time to get your guts harvested, kid. It's a tough world out there. Hell, like I'm gonna kill you with the card with your face on it. Ha! Anyways, that's just how it do be sometimes on this bitch of an earth. Anyways, we got some new books. The Books of Finn. Oh boy, it's not all that delightful to see such a young rookie fall like that, all things
저는
considered.
네 입으로
You said
말했잖아.
yourself that our way is
이
quite polite and
도시에서 이
fair before, didn't
정도는
you?
도시에서는
That most of
대부분
the time people's
타이에
lives
의해
are taken away by
강제적으로
others without any
일어나는
consent or
하지만
agreement.
도서관은 달라.
The library is
이곳에
different.
들어오는 손님들은
People who enter this place
원하는
have
것을
agreed to risk
얻기
death to gain what they
위해
want.
서명을 통한 동의와
They even
함께
signed the paper to show
도서관에
such
이
agreement.
과정에서 그
No
어떤
coercion or
강압도
compulsion is
없었지.
involved in this process.
전부
They make their own choice and
그들의
pay
선택-
accordingly.
그렇긴 한데.
Well, yeah, fair point, but it
그래도
still
이건
kind of
좀
feels dirty in a
뭔가-
way. Each floor will present you with a set of assignments. Completing them will unlock an abnormality battle. When the assignments are completed for a floor, a battle against an abnormality becomes available. And then, there's also the hazard level. The library's current hazard level is preceded the city. Raising the realization level of each floor will increase the library's presence as a threat. The hazard level will rise once the gauge is filled. But first, we got some new books. Notably, the Books of Finn. Finn only has 4 copies of his page because his is a higher rarity than the other pages we've seen so far. However, we only got 1 copy of it. So,
처음에 내뱉은 것 치고는
oh wait, dang it.
얌전히 잘해준
Nah,
것
whatever, it's
같네.
fine. We'll do the Admo fight first. You seem to be doing your job meekly and well for someone who complains so much. What else did you expect after greeting in such a violent manner?
나라고 안 놀랐겠어.
Heck, I was shocked
어딘지도
hard.
모르는
I
곳에
find myself in the middle of
떨어졌는데.
nowhere and the first person I meet blows off my
처음엔
limbs.
막막했는데.
Was lost at first,
몇
but I
번
get the
해보니
gist of receiving guests
대충
now that I've tried it a few
어떻게
times.
없는 건 아니지만.
Though I do still have a complaint. Complaint?
또.
Sheesh, man, again with the stare. Can't say a
됐으니까
thing.
이야기는
Just tell me what you mean.
아니,
I mean, well, it's kind of tough to receive guests all alone.
놈들이면 몰라도
Guests arriving one by one I
여럿이
can deal with, but
몰려오면
when it's a whole group enters, the
저
first
많은
thing
걸
comes to my mind is how the hell am I gonna fight all of them? Gotta be a point where one person's no longer enough, right? It's only working right now because we've all been facing were minor syndicates and stuff. Whole fuss about heightening emotions, so I can't just kill the guests right away because of that. What's that face hinting at? There is a way, technically speaking, so I'm not sure if it's for the best. You're gonna join the fights yourself? No, there are entities that could be of help, however, and those entities are the beings that used to wield tremendous strength and power but are now transient to maintain a physical form, hardly holding on to existence. Don't remember seeing any living beings in here other than you or
널
me.
도와줄 사서들과 함께 책 속에 잠들어 있어.
These are referring
지금은 내가 말해준
to
정도만
the
알고 있어도 돼.
abnormalities.
그래, 뭐
Right, let's say it's the case. How are the sleeping entities supposed
책
to help
안으로
us?
들어가서
Are the books of real
갇혀있는
librarians
사서들을
trapped within?
꺼내오는데
They're under the influence of the
아마
abnormalities'
각자
powers
다른
for
이유로
various
그들은 매우
reasons.
불안정한
They're highly
상태라.
unstable, they won't
우리를
easily trust
침입자로
us.
생각한다는
You're saying they'll
거고.
take us
맞아.
for invaders, correct?
그리고
Overcome
만약
all the
모든
ordeals
시련을
presented by them, they will come to
너무
accept you.
막연한데.
Instructions still
지금은
unclear,
엄청
ma'am.
약해진
You said they're as
상태라며.
mighty as wet paper now. You sure they can
그들이
give any help?
직접적으로
We're not
손님을
making them
대접해주는
receive
그들을
guests for
이해하고
us.
받아들일
If
수
they can be
있다면
understood and accepted, they will empower the librarians directly or indirectly. Still too ambiguous, gotta say. Anyhow, what you're saying now is that they'll present us with ordeals, basically. We have to overcome them and earn recognition to borrow their powers. Entering books sounds like something out of a fairy tale.
아, 예, 예.
Anyways, first, let's go ahead and equip Finn's page. Finn's page does have the same stats as a Yun's Office Fixer. Well, actually, I don't really think it's a good idea to equip Finn's page for now, considering that effect only applies when an ally dies, and at the moment we're on our own, so not necessarily a necessity. So before we go and farm the rest of Finn's pages, let's go fight the abnormality. These are occasional fights that'll break up the main gameplay. Sometimes you'll instead have to fight against an abnormality from the original Lobotomy Corporation. In this case, we're fighting against Bloodbath, the literal bathtub full of blood. But since we can't fight a physical bathtub, instead we're fighting this thing. Anyways, you want to take a look at their passives, because these are more often puzzle fights more than anything else. For example, Scars takes 1 to 5 less damage from slash attacks, and Blood loses 3 speed, boosts the max value of block dice by +3. So, if we observe the opponent, we can see their damage resistances. Each character and key page has different resistances to the physical and stagger damage dealt by each type of attack. You can deal extra damage by attacking with damage types that are weak to, which is denoted by fatal and weak. On the contrary, attacking with damage types whose resistance is set to endured or ineffective causes less damage. Use resistances to your advantage in receptions. You can also see their passives and their resistances. So, the first attack he's using is Depression. Nice. 1 to 6 damage on hit, inflict 3 paralysis. We do not want to get paralyzed, so I'm going to open with Preparation. We did roll higher than that, so we were able to deal a bit of damage. Now, remember, boost the max value of block dice by 3. This is an all block dice page, so it's not going to do any damage to us. So if we just click Initiate, nothing happens. And then since they rotate attacks on a regular basis, I said since they rotate attacks on a regular basis, there we go. Now he's using a different attack that we don't have to worry about. Crunchyroll Funimation BS, once again pirating anime and downloading more shit to my SSD collection. Ah, yeah. Funimation sucks. But anyways, we've got Pale Hands, a 3-dice card which staggers the target if all the attacks connect. So we're going to counter that. It only hit us with 1, so we're fine. Anyways, looks like it's using Sinking again. Pass turn. And it's using Pale Hands again. We don't have enough for Gut Harvesting, so let's take advantage of Preemptive Strike and see if we can dodge a few of them. Dodge, and dodge. Nice. It's using Sinking again. And yeah, that's the main thing about abnormality fights. Unlike the regular fights, which can be somewhat brute forced, abnormality fights are puzzles first and foremost. You gotta learn how the abnormality works and how to fight against it, similar to Lobotomy Corporation. But anyways, now that he's staggered, all of his resistances have changed to fatal, meaning that we can finally take advantage of a fully powered gut harvesting. Or at least I thought we could anyway. Apparently I have stupid, I guess. Duh. Anyways, he's using Pale Hands again, so let's go ahead and use Preparation. On Clash Win, Preparation is going to restore a light, meaning that we're going to be +1 on light. Or was my guess? God damn it, Lancer. Yeah, cards like Preparation are very helpful for early, very helpful in the fight, because you're often going to want a card that'll let you end +1 on light. Whether that be a card with 0 cost or otherwise, you want cards like Preparation in your deck and available, so that way you can save up all your life for the big attacks. Like that. And we have achieved victory. Bloodbath has been suppressed. The floor of General Works has leveled up. We now have access to new abnormality pages, an assistant librarian, and an emotion level. And this is the main mechanic that the emotion levels are tied to. Abnormality pages. Every time the emotion level rises by 1, we get to choose one of these pages, and the types of pages that show up depend on how many emotion coins were gathered by all of your librarians. If more positive ones were gathered than negative ones, then you'll see more green cards. These cards are generally just like one-sided positive buffs. Like for example, take 2 to 5 less damage from slash attacks. When hit, reduce the damage of the attack to 0 at a 20% chance. Or, after 3 successful attacks on a target, deal 3 to 10 bonus stagger damage. The red pages, on the other hand, are more risk-reward, as they usually have a positive and negative effect, or require something bad to happen for you to gain a positive effect. Like for example, Blood increases your defensive dice by 1 to 2 power. Very strong, which can help you win a lot of clashes. However, you also receive 3 to 5 stagger damage when you're hit. So because of that, you will get more staggered easily if you're not blocking. In addition, we now have our new librarian, Yui. And if you want, you can also customize your librarians however you like. You can customize their name, their prefix, their suffix, etc. Even their dialogue, if you want to really get heavily into your character's customization. And yeah, there's also the pages, which make them permanently look like a specific page. You can even change the size of them. And you can make your characters as gender ambiguous as you want. Huzzah! Also, a thing to note about key pages is that they keep all of the combat pages equipped on them, so you're going to want to empty the bookshelf of a page whenever you're going to switch over to a new one. That way you can still keep all of the combat pages on it. Anyways, we're going to replace Preemptive Strike with Struggle. This is an absolutely fantastic card. Protection makes you take less damage from attacks, so it's a very good defensive option alongside cards like Dirty Blow and Preparation. The game is slowly teaching us the main principles to keep in mind when deck building, which is very helpful. Anyways, we're gonna get our copies of Gut Harvesting, of course. And now that we have 2 librarians, going back to fight Finn again should be easy as hell. After all, we gotta get those other 3 copies. As the emotion levels of characters rise, the overall emotion level of the team they belong to is heightened as well. When the level goes up, you choose an abnormality page. Yeah, Awakening pages are the bluish-green ones, and Breakdown pages are the red ones. Awakening pages are purely beneficial. Breakdown pages are powerful effects that come with drawbacks, whether that be activating due to something negative or having just like a straight-up downside. Each floor offers a different set of abnormality pages, and the likelihood of each type of page being presented depends on the ratio of positive to negative emotion points. As I mentioned previously, I already explained that game. Come on, keep up. But anyways, now that we have 2 characters to control, these fights should be even easier. As you can see, we can now gank Finn twice as fast! However, that does come with drawbacks, because the stronger you are, the less high your opponent's emotion levels get, and the less books you'll resolve at the end of the fight. So, for optimal farming, we want to tend to be around the level of our opponent strength-wise. Of course, it is always important in something like a Nuzlock to be more careful, but that also means that we are going to end up with fewer pages as a result. It's an interesting catch-22 where it's like, yeah, if you're stronger than your opponent, then you can absolutely clean house against somebody like them. However, you do also have to keep in mind that that means you might be a bit weaker when it comes to, you might be a bit weaker. Well, you might have to do the fight multiple times in order to farm all the pages you need. I don't know, my brain's being dumb right now. Anyways, we got a copy of Finn's book left over, so let's send it back home to his organization as a threat.
피는 역시 실패한 건가?
Finn has failed as expected. He wasn't going to last too long anyway. He was just mediocre. Should have got a decent modification surgery or had enough talent to make up for his lack of experience. But didn't have any of that. He was nothing more than an overconfident brat. Too bad. Kind of liked his affable and cutesy attitude. Though I agree, he was bound to die sooner or later. Congratulations, by the way. Must have more options now you're a grade 8 fixer. Yep, so you better be careful. If you don't pay me well, I may move on to another office. Heard you're barely covering your own taxes these days, let alone the monthly rent for this office space. Am I wrong? I believe the case I had Finn handle could make a breakthrough. You mean the library and the invitation you talked about earlier? You said the invitation only appears randomly, no? How are you going to get another one? Wouldn't have called you if I didn't have certainty. I recently received another invitation. Is that so? The existence of our office depends on this case. The library is sure to be profitable. I have a hunch. So we're giving it everything we have. Alright, let's roll in some dough. Just bought this lovely thing here from a workshop, too. These guests seem quite determined. We should prepare accordingly. A whole office is coming at us, huh? Maybe a small and insignificant one, but it can prove to be a little too tough for the library right now. We'll have to make it all the way to your room. The guests cannot act outside the space we prepared for them. That's how this place works. After all, this space is created with limitless power. Yet, you somehow jumped right into my room when you weren't even invited. Anyways, I'm capable of protecting myself, so there's nothing for you to worry about. Greetings, dear guests. You must be the owner of this place. She doesn't even look that strong. Finn must have been here earlier. What happened to him? Ah, that one has become a book. I see, so you turn into a book if you die here. Acting all sentimental when you were the one who sent him here knowing he'd fail? Shut up. We all got exploited and abandoned at some point in our lives. May you find your book in this place. Anyways, some receptions are going to have multiple acts, meaning that we're going to go up against a set of multiple opponents. So, we're going up against 2 default fixers to start off with. Anyways, we've got both our opponents going ahead to attack her. What should we do? Well, if you have a higher speed dice than the opponent, you can force their attack to clash with yours. This way, you can prevent your ally from having to take a bunch of one-sided attacks. It's a very important skill to keep in mind, as this will definitely become relevant later on in the game. So yeah, if you have high enough speed dice, you can force the opponent to attack you instead. Very helpful for keeping some of your more squishy friends alive. Anyway, it's time for some good old gut harvesting. My favorite card. Die. We did it. Anyways, now it's Act 2. We've got Yun and Eri. Let's give it everything we got. No need to drag on any further. Let's end this neatly. To see if anyone hits me, I hit him twice to even up the score. Alright. They are both attacking Huey again, so Let's go ahead and intercept the top blow. Also, one thing to note, if your emotion level increases, but it increases on the last turn of the current act of the floor, then your emotion level triggers next page and you get to select as many abnormality pages as levels you've increased. So we increased to 1. So let's go ahead and give Scars to Roland. And then, since we increased 2 levels, we get to choose the other one. So let's give Pale Hands to Yui. As you can see, now you can see their ability up there in the corner. Also, the music will change in accordance with the current state of combat. And listen to this absolute banger! Anyways, music will also change when it's time to... God damn it. Anyways, Yun and Eri are dead now. But yeah, some of the books from a later chapter of that floor will give you the generic ones as well. So if we needed more books of a grade 9 fixer, we could just do the chapter 3 fight.
훌륭해.
Excellent. This guest named Yun can make an especially valuable book for us. They're all like moths diving into the flames. Yun guy seemed like a clever sort. But even he ended up blindly jumping into the fire to get what he wanted. Once you've had a taste of desire, it comes in like an unstoppable wave. It's a quote I heard a long time ago. But is that desire true to one's heart? Well, aren't you funny? You say you despise roundabout speech, and now you're being all poetic. 10 out of 10 delivery. A certain librarian I know would have taken an arm and a leg off if she heard that. Get back to sorting books. It's just as Angela said. We really got another floor of the library. Hey there, my name's Roland. Angela, I still can't forgive you. Ooh, librarian drama. Anybody who is a fan of LobCorp may remember the name Malkuth. Angela, you... I thought we were already done with that topic. You simply need to cooperate without complaint. That was the deal, remember? And try to appreciate that fleshy body of yours you finally earned back. Did you really think you can make me happy just by giving me a human body? Don't forget, I still don't agree with you. As you wish. Damn, that was tense. Hello there, I'm the patron librarian in charge of the floor of history. Malkuth! You seem lively at least. What was going on just now? I have some unfinished business with Angela. Probably heard bits of it, but I have no choice to follow her orders, no matter how I feel. I'm in the same shoes as yours, so we seem to have ended up here for different reasons. So, what can I do for you? You can bring me books, Roland. Since I'm in charge of the floor of history, I'll be sorting the books you bring and collecting those that are about history. Us librarians will then read the collected books, gradually making our floors whole and completing the library itself as an extension. And we'll naturally get to unlock more floors and awaken their patron librarians in the process. So the other librarians are asleep for now? Yep, they are. I got the gist of it. You're surprisingly bright for someone who was so upset moments ago, by the way. Kinda worried I might have to endure some of that wrath. I can't let my personal affairs get in the way of my work now. I still have my problems with Angela, but it's not like getting mad about it'll do me any good. I got my own reasons to do my best at this work too. Okay then, let's give it our best shot. Yeah! You have now unlocked the Floor of History. The Floor of History will come with a new patron librarian, that being Malkuth, the patron librarian of the Floor of History. However, one thing to keep in mind is that once you unlock a new floor, they won't have any of the abnormality pages or anything that your older floors would have. So because of that, it might be best to stick with some of the older floors when you get a new one. Anyways, we got some books of Eri, some books of Yun, and some books of Yun's office, which now contain Yun and Eri's pages. Very useful. Let's see how many of them we end up getting. We're gonna need 5 of Eri's and 4 of Yun. 4 of Yun's. We got 3 of Yun's and 2 of Eri's. Anyways, let's go ahead and swap around our key pages a bit here. Let's see. I'm not really going to be using Finn's page very much, given that we really don't want our allies to die. So incentivizing that with Finn's key page is a pretty bad idea. Anyways, let's go ahead and give Roland Yun's key page, and Yui Aries' key page. Yun's page boosts the max value of evade dice by 3 at a 50% chance. So we're going to want to make most of our pages use evade dice. Luckily for us, we just got a perfect page that is also a Sonic copy pasta. You're too slow! Nyam. But yeah, you always want to play, whenever you're deck building, you always want to play to your deck strengths. I do still want to keep 1 copy of Preparation in here because Light Restoration is very important, but you always want to play your deck strengths. So for example, I want to put in a lot of evade dice here on my cards, considering that Yun's Hunch gives evade dice +3. As for Yui, she has the Art of Defense. Boosts defense dice by +3 at a 25% chance. We also got a new level 3 card, which I'm going to give 1 copy of to Roland. This is Commandeering. On use, gives 1 protection to all allies next scene. It's a similar ability to Struggle, only instead of giving just 2 to you, it gives 1 to everyone else. Commandeering is our first example of a card that's beneficial from having more characters. Anyways, for Yui here, we can just max out on all the defensive abilities we have. Seeing as, you know, she's got the ability that can boost defensive dice. Anyways, before we go back into that later fight, we gotta go back in and farm up some more key pages. Also, now that we have access to multiple floors, you can have multiple floors participate in battle. If one of the floors falls, or once the act ends, either by your floor being entirely defeated or you defeat all the enemies, you can swap over to another floor. However, the emotion values of that floor are reset. So, because of that, it's often best to try and stick with one floor as much as possible. Because you don't want to be starting off the boss floor on, like, a low emotion level, meaning you're going to be less prepared. It's like, do I want to take... But it is also an interesting dilemma. Do you want to take the floor that has full health, but are only at level 1 emotion, meaning that they're going to have, like, very little light, very little speed dice, etc.? Or do you want to take the already somewhat injured Do you want to take the already somewhat injured floor that has greater, that has higher emotion levels so they can get started with, like, the proper fighting right away? It's definitely an interesting dilemma that makes for some very interesting challenges, I must say. And I said interesting twice there, god damn it. Anyways. Hey look, it's Yun again. We killed you earlier. Now, this is an unfortunate example of a situation where a character is going to take a one-sided attack. We can't really do very much about it in the current situation, but it's far from the worst thing in the world because Roland only took a largely defensive attack. Oh, and in case you're wondering, you can load up one character with multiple emotion pages. So if you want to make one character into an absolute god, you can totally do that. You can do whatever floats your boat, whatever strikes your fancy, whatever is, in your opinion, the most combat effective. God, Roland just fucking got decked in the fucking face. Good grief. Yeah, gut harvesting is somewhat more consistent than commandeering, but it is also technically weaker. Fortunately, we're at the point in the game where losing a clash isn't necessarily like too devastating. Anyways, time for Alexandria Simulator again, as we've got more books to burn. We've got all 3 copies of Yun's page that we need, but we need to get 2 copies of Aries' page. I'm still going to burn the books of Yun anyway, though, because we can get more copies of Commandeering and You're Too Slow, which is always nice. Speaking of which, there's the last 2 pages for Aerie we need. Nice. Now to go ahead and update the spreadsheet. We gotta keep track of everything. We gotta regularly update the spreadsheet. Anyways, we can just go ahead and give Malkuth the same thing that we gave to Roland earlier. Just the full Yun's page build. It might actually be best to just go with, speaking of Roland, it might just be best to go with Commandeering instead of Gut Harvesting at this point. Because we don't have any 3-cost pages. We don't have any 3-cost pages that use Dodge. So because of that, it seems like at this point our best option is just to use Commandeering instead of Gut Harvest. So long, Gut Harvest, you have served us well. Skitter Away is still definitely good, though. At least for Yun, anyway. Anyways, now that we've got both of the pages all set up the way we want, it's time to send out the new invitation. This one requires a book of Yun's office. The Brotherhood of Iron. You guys should regularly refill your head with brain fluid. A dry brain dulls your thoughts. I knew I've been feeling so hazy these days. Where are we going to rob this time? I think we should go for a workshop. Workshops are rich and they have useful components too. How about an office? We should learn some infamy if we take out an office or two. I don't think we'll get anything valuable from the offices we can take on right now. A restaurant then. I like delicious stuff. You moron! Did you already forget when we got our new bodies? Because we wanted to focus on earning without having to worry about food or sickness. That's right, we're enduring like crazy. These bodies just need brain fluid, fuel, and some repairs from time to time. But we can make money without feeling hungry or thirsty. That's true. It costs a fortune to get ourselves whole body replacements. But it's still uncomfortable. I don't have to eat anymore, but I keep thinking about all the tasty things I had before, and it makes me want to taste them again. That's because we got cheap bodies from a cheap workshop. But we just have to earn more, then we can replace our bodies with better ones. The most expensive ones can even adjust emotions and completely shut off desires, on top of having good performance. But those are almost expensive as a nest household. But we can worry about that later. Let's focus on the money making for now. It's all about money in the end. So don't bring up restaurants. You're making me want to eat stuff too. Mo, there's a piece of paper stuck in your body! I like how this body doesn't have any sensory systems, but it's annoying to be unable to feel things like this. Let's have a look at the piece of paper first. I don't think it was in your body until just now. Maybe we got too infamous and someone sends a calling card or something? Or maybe a coupon for yummy new food. Are all syndicates composed of such half-witted individuals? I was expecting someone more refined. I hope the robotic bodies will at least let us simulate the feeling of eating and tasting food. Well, they mentioned earlier in-game that once they get better bodies, they are able to like regulate emotions and everything, so you can definitely do that. All depends on the syndicate. It says credit with them. They even say there's one for every fixer out there. Number of thugs gather up and do things under a name, and you get a syndicate. They're involved in all sorts of different businesses, so it's hard to give a general description beyond that. They seem sloppy. Are those machines? They aren't machines or AI, despite their appearance. Pure machines carrying their own emotions and desires have long since disappeared from the city. These guys are just using whole-body replacements. Low-quality ones from a shoddy workshop at that. I see. Alright, shall we prepare for the reception? So we can find valuable stuff here, right? We just have to chop up some monsters and take some books. This body is strength if nothing else. But Lancer, you wouldn't even be able to fuck. You're a robot. But yeah. AI in the city has been outright banned. Like, the city is extremely vehemently against AI. Any AI found within city limits will immediately be booted to the outskirts if it's not murdered on the spot. It's one of the few rules that the AI actually, like, it's one of the few rules that the head of the city actually enforces properly. The city doesn't enforce much, but AI regulation is one of the few things it certainly does. So these are just robot bodies with human brains in them, which is perfectly fine. As long as it's human at its core, then a robot is allowed. Like, so if it's just a fucking brain in a robot, human brain in a robot body, then that's perfectly fine. In addition, there's also stuff like, oh yeah, also not needing hunger or thirst or anything, just like brain fluid and fuel for your robot body. Plus, you also get some cash up front by selling the organs they take out of your body. We came here for loot, but what if that piece of paper was all a lie? Maybe we were too naive. There is no need to worry, dear guests. In this place, we strictly play by the rules written on the invitation. Yikes! Welcome, dear guests. This is the library, and I am Angela, the director and librarian of my role's namesake. In this library, you may obtain the books listed on the invitation. If you overcome the ordeal, that is. But must be one of those ploys by rich folks. It's all entertainment to them. I heard of that. They kidnap people from the back streets, trap them in a labyrinth no one can escape, and make them wander in there, fighting for eternity. Until they die, never to see the light again. We've already come this far. We can do this. Don't be so gloomy. May you find your book in this place, then. We got Mo, Consta, and Arnold, the robots. They got some interesting new pages. Most notably, Charge Up. It's a zero-cost page that restores 1 light. Seems interesting, right? You're going +1 on light for a turn. What's the catch? You inflict 1 paralysis to yourself. Paralysis is a debuff that decreases the maximum roll value of dice by 3. So for example, something like the potential 1 to 9 roll on You're Too Slow immediately becomes a 1 to 6. And the 2 to 4 roll on the damage dice is limited to a 1 to 2. It can't go lower than the minimum roll, but it is still a very heavy debuff. They also have some really powerful cards like Endure, which can inflict paralysis to your opponent instead. And stuff like Dried Up, which gives you strength to increase the power of your dice. And of course, the very funny card, You Only Live Once, which inflicts 2 paralysis to an enemy next scene on hit, and can roll anywhere from a 1 to a 12. Extremely high risk, extremely high reward, very fucking funny. I love using the YOLO card. It's very funny. Anyways, time to fight. And they are all targeting Yui. God damn it. Alright, well thankfully 2 of them are using Endure and 1 of them is just using Dodge and Strike, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Go ahead and struggle against that one. And Commandeering against you. Nice. Nice! She even staggered one of them already. Fantastic. Good work, Yui. You did well. Now we'll go ahead and use Commandeering on him. And we'll use Skitter Away on the Endure. Because remember, clashing against other defensive dice with dodge dice does use it up, as opposed to dodging attacks. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Anyway, we've got this fight largely wrapped up. Counter the Endure with Commandeering. We'll get double Commandeering, so we're extra beefed up in defense. I mean, not that it matters, considering one of them is literally on 1 stamina and the other is staggered, but, you know, you can never be too careful. Especially in a Nuzlock. The game might seem easy now, but trust me, we will get into the brutal elements of this game later. And the Nuzlock will become a lot harder. Huh, I'm shocked. I expected Lancer to make a lewd joke when I said the Nuzlock was gonna get harder. Like, I genuinely thought Lancer would have hopped in to make a horny comment. Anyways, got a bunch of books of the Brotherhood of Iron. And we even got a Brotherhood of Iron hat, which is very funny. I see. It's not a good idea to keep your brain inside a hunk of scrap metal. Laugh at something else and I missed it? Ah, fair. Isn't it still better than a frail human body, though? There are plenty of ways to enhance your body without replacing it for another. Heck, there's actually many options. Tattoos, prosthetic limbs, medications, drugs, you name it. It's all possible as long as you have the cash. Replacing your body with a machine, on the other hand, is a one-way ticket you can't go back on. Robotic bodies can't resemble humans too closely, even if it's where someone's swapping out their flesh. Your life goes down the drain right away. When does one put their brain in the machine then? One, when you urgently need a huge amount of money. You can sell off your old body and organs for a good chunk of cash. And two, when you need to do repetitive work for a long time. I heard mechanical bodies like that aren't too bad for that kind of labor. Broken parts can be quickly replaced, desires can be kept under control, so it has its merits. Repetitive work for a long time. What, interested in getting a new body? No, I was just reminded of my past for a moment. Anyways, let's go ahead and burn some of these Brotherhood of Iron books. Most pages are purple, so we can only get 3 copies of that, whereas Consta and Arnold, we need a total of 4 copies of theirs. So let's see if we're doing the fight again. Probably are. Oh, no. Doesn't look like it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we do need 1 more copy of Arnold's page, though. Yeah, because we got 4 copies of Consta. Okay, we do need 1 more copy of Arnold's page. But anyways, let's go ahead and equip that new fancy robot body we got a hold of. And don't worry, this doesn't require us, the librarians, to replace our limbs. Anyways, we got Moe's page here. Electric Shock. On successful attack, inflict paralysis at a 25% chance next scene. Once per target per scene. Very useful ability. Well, actually, let's keep Malkuth with the Yoon build for now. Well, I mean, honestly, at the moment, Yoon's page isn't necessarily the best. Like, the dodge ability is good, but we have a lot more defensive dice than we do dodge dice at the moment. So because of that, stuff like Yui's build here is a lot better in terms of consistency. Anyways, let's go ahead and do some deck building. I am, of course, going to include the funny YOLO card, but I'm only going to include 1 copy of it, because consistency. 2 copies of Dried Up, because strength increase is nice. I could do Chop It Off, since we do have a consistent way of increasing strength. I think actually instead I'm gonna include 1 copy of Blow It Up. And then 2 copies of Preparation for good measure. I'm only including 1 copy of Charge Up because as powerful as it is, inflicting paralysis on yourself is very dangerous. So we don't want to rely on that too heavily. Also, if you're planning on copying a build over to another character, you can just use the save function like that. It's very handy. Anyways, before that, we have a abnormality reception for Malkuth's Floor, the Book of the Scorched Girl. Scorched Girl. Any other damage type is completely ineffective. However, she loses 50% of her max HP and becomes staggered when an ally dies. And she loses all light upon becoming staggered. Meanwhile, there are 2 last match flames. One's using Ember and the other is using Broken Hope. Scorched Girl is rolling a 6 consistently, meaning that she's going to probably unleash something very powerful when she manages to get all the way up there. So, you shouldn't let her do that. Let's go ahead and use this. I might miss for now, but that does mean that I'm going to have higher attack for the next scene. Now that these guys are both just using what are essentially blank dice, let's go ahead and hit this one with the Preparation. I missed. Okay, here we go. But now we can do the funny. It's the funny! Anyways, let's go ahead and make sure that we finish off this one. I didn't kill it. God damn it. Alright, yeah, Ghost Girl is... The girl's now going to use 4th Match Flame. That's gonna hurt. I think we'll be fine, though. Fuck, this might actually be a very bad spot to be in. Yeah, that's the thing. We got super unlucky with our initial rolls. But we're still alive. However, fire damage is still going to hurt. This is our first tense moment of the run. Okay, we did kill one of them. No! Damn it. Hey. Alright. So, unfortunately, our first casualty of the run. We have lost 1 copy of Moe's Page. Unfortunately, we just kind of lost the bad RNG there. Since I do have another copy in storage here, I'm just gonna leave that one there since I don't want to have to readjust everything. But unfortunately, we have lost our first key page of the run. Rest in peace. Now, let's see if I can actually do this time, instead of just sucking ass like last time and getting shit rolls. There we go. That's more like it. That's way more like it. All right, nice. We are off to a flying start here. It's the funny! Damn it, I only hit a 2. Oh well. It's not the worst thing in the world, plus it's paralyzed this turn, so theoretically I could do charge up, but I'm just gonna do preparation instead. God damn it. God, they keep just barely fucking under-rolling it. Shit. Hey. Fuck me. Am I gonna lose another fucking run already? Damn it. I swear to God, if I'm going to lose another fucking shot at this already, I've never had this shit of RNG when facing off against the match girl. Like, I've never gotten this rotten of luck against her. It's the fucking... Jesus. I have never gotten this bad of luck against her. Good grief. Alright. Fuck me. That's the second Mo page dead. I guess paralysis definitely isn't the Mo build isn't really what I should go for here. I should probably go for Yun instead. Like something with more more consistency to it. Actually, let's go with the build that I'm running for Ares page instead. Actually, yeah, the one I'm running for Ares page is going to be much better due to the fact that we've also now got Endure available as an option. Yeah, we've got stuff like Endure. Yeah, this seems like a much better option. Okay, god damn it, Lancer. But yeah, this one should hopefully be a bit better because now we've got stuff like more defensive dice that we can use. Plus, with the defense, we can get the staggered deflex on some of the enemies, hopefully. Yeah, I should have been running this shit from the beginning. Yeah, I feel like I honestly feel like the Mo pages aren't necessarily like consistent enough to build a solid deck around. Now that I've played them a bit more. At least in like this kind of setting anyway, because they're way too like RNG reliant. Now, granted, the defensive pages I have going as well, this is RNG reliant as well, but paralysis is multiple levels of RNG, because there's still the potential that they get a high roll regardless. But anyways, after 2, frankly, embarrassing deaths, the Scorched Girl has been suppressed.
어때?
God, that was cringe.
네, 조금 어려워도 열심히 분류하고 있어요. 다행히 성과는 있는 것 같네요.
듣기 좋은 소리구만. 근데 전에 피가 흐르는 몸이니 뭐니 엔젤라가 그랬잖아. 넌 인간이 아니었어?
의체 같은 몸이었어요. 다시 돌이킬 수 없는 상태의 모습이었죠.
Still though, I fucking botched that hard.
그것도 대단한데?
God, I am
힘이겠지?
losing to the second Abno fight of the game. I'm never gonna let myself live that down. Not losing once, but losing twice!
마음에 들지 않나 봐.
좋죠.
I know it's somewhat RNG reliant, but like, Jesus.
이런 걸 바란 게 아니에요.
That was
that
was awful!
그러게요. 예전의 전 뭘까요? 믿기지 않겠지만 이건 제 3번째 삶이에요. 도서관과 사서들에게는 많은 역사가 쌓여있죠.
3번째라고? 뭐 막 되살아나거나 그런 건가?
엄밀히 말하면 세 번째로 기억을 더 씌운 거예요. 예전의 나. 이런 고민은 저도 처음 해보네요.
어려운 문제를 떠안고 있구만. 지금의 넌 뭐인 것 같아?
전 모두의 노력을 물거품으로 만든 무책임한
Anyways, we got
녀석이에요.
Malkuth lamenting about how her life at Lobotomy
분수에 맞지
Corporation was
않는
shit.
일로 잘못을 범한 멍청이인 것 같기도 하고요.
잠깐. 왜 갑자기 어두워지고 그래? 일단 진정하자고. 천천히 숨을 들이마시고 내쉬고
Anyway, here's a cute moment of Roland helping Malkuth get over her anxiety.
좀 어때?
덕분에 좀 나아졌어요. 고마워요, 롤랑. 당장 어떻게 할
These
수
two have
없는
the
일에
most
대해
like
연락했죠.
genuinely wholesome relationship in the
제가 누구보다
relationship in the
잘하는데
game, in my opinion.
할 수 있는 일부터 힘내야겠죠.
좋아. 나도 열심히 할 테니까 예전에 자신에 대한 문제는 천천히 생각해보자고.
Anyways, now we are up to level 2 on the floor of history. And we gained some interesting Adno pages. These are the start of the red pages being like proper questions you gotta ask yourself for consistency. Like, for example, we do have a good awakening page, Ashes. When hit, inflict 1 to 3 burn to the attacker and gain a buff at a 40% chance to inflict 1 burn on hit with your offensive attacks. Very good for countering when you take damage, but then we have some interesting breakdown pages. Footfalls. When a librarian's HP is at 20% or lower, deal 30% of the target's max HP as damage and inflict 1 to 3 burn upon approaching them, then die. Safe to say we're not going to be using that one, considering it literally turns a librarian into a fucking suicide bomb. And then we also have Matchlight, a more interesting one. The first 2 combat pages librarian uses after the abnormality page is selected gain the Matchlight status. Whenever a librarian uses a page with the Matchlight status, you gain 1 Ember. Pages with Matchlight become stronger based on the number of Ember. However, they have a 25% chance to damage the user if the Ember is 4 or higher. So whatever pages you play after getting this, gain a status to improve your attack, but if you use it too many times, it could end up backfiring. Anyways, we also have a new librarian, Ashley. She can get Yun's page. We still don't have very many good dodge dice, though, unfortunately. But we do have the options for Skitter Away, Prep, and we have run out of copies of Commandeering, though. Actually, I can take out 1 copy of You're Too Slow and throw in a copy of Dried Up. And, yeah, fuck it, we'll do the fun page. We'll do the funny. Anyways, if I remember correctly, we still need a copy of... Yeah, we need 1 more copy of Arnold's page. Even if they're not necessarily the best key pages, I still want to get them anyway, because we could always... Because sometimes you might just need fodder pages. Commit, die, basically. Or I guess since we're playing this game, you could say you're not committing die, you're committing dice. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba! And we also get to keep that die for that encounter. Very nice. Yeah, fuck it. Let's give him the Matchlight status. Now we get to properly see what Ember does. Max roll value of the first die of pages with Matchlight increases by 1 for each stack. It inflicts burn equal to the stacks of Ember on hit. If there are 4 or more stacks of Ember, explode after rolling the first die with a 25% chance, inflicting damage equal to the max roll value to self. So yeah, that's the thing about breakdown pages. High risk, high reward. Yeah, you can do a lot of damage, but you could also make yourself explode. Fortunately, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Also, I love how Malkuth's 4 is like a very jazzy theme. It's very nice sounding. Nice. Yeah, as you can see from that instant hit there, Matchlight, very powerful. We are currently only at 3 stacks of Ember, so we don't have to worry about Ashley potentially exploding yet. We don't have to potentially worry about Ashley accidentally rolling a high number and doing a die. Rolls seduce the bun, rolls a 1. Lucky for you, when it comes to dating, I'm an easy skill check. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. You see, it's funny because I have low standards. God, my humor sucks. Anyways. Me who's never dated. But anyways. Now we got our last copy of Arnold's page that we needed. Nice. I really do. Honestly, now that we have Dried Up as an option, Yun's build is starting to look a bit better, not gonna lie. We still don't have too many dodge dice related cards, which is unfortunate, but Dried Up is a very fantastic card for this build, so things are looking a bit more consistent now. Alright, I should also probably equip some of the battle symbols I got. These are the little things that you get left over from fights. They're similar to the abnormality gifts from Lobotomy Corporation. For example, the Yun's Office Representative, 1% chance to boost evade dice power by 1. Granted, they aren't necessarily like super fancy or anything. They don't really have like many massively like combat impacting effects. The only ones that do come like super late in the game. But they're just little cool, they're just like cool little cosmetic things. For example, a lot of the characters with like an abnormal head design, like for example if they're like a robot or whatever, will actually drop their own, will actually drop like headwear related to them. So that way if you want to like make a version to like roleplay as that character or whatever, you can use their headwear, which I think is really cool personally. Getting to kind of make a version of a character that you like to roleplay as them. It's a nice detail. Anyways, next up we got a blank invitation using the Book of the Brotherhood of Iron. My whole body's still aching from our last job. That's lasting longer than I thought. Still, yesterday wasn't wild, was it? Yep, the new weapon you got for the workshop's a real killer, that's for sure. You don't say. He got way too excited with it and things spiraled out of control. We had to kill 20 more people than planned thanks to you. Since it was a mistake on our part, we couldn't even get paid for the extra kills. Come on, don't be such a killjoy. You're the one who went on the biggest rampage in the end. Maka's muscles are all sore because they had to try to calm you down. Well, I said I'm sorry about it. No need to sweat it. I owe you guys a few things too. I hate to admit it, but Tyan has a point. We should all try to cool down our temper a little. As long as we're working as fixers, it's not good to raise more trouble than necessary. Former members of a killer syndicate, now registered to an office and doing fixer work. Life really is full of surprises, isn't it? Now this brings up something interesting. We saw somewhat previously with Yun's office how he sent Finn in to die, but fixer groups aren't necessarily the most clean organizations. Like, they're not necessarily the most positive. They're fixers. They fix problems. Sure, sometimes that's fighting bad guys, but other times that's things like these guys. Stuff like wet work, you know. Killing people that might be innocent, but the companies want dead. And so that's where people like these guys come in. The Hook office, as we'll see in a moment. This office is a weird one too. Can't believe people like us are accepted. Remember what the boss said. So many offices and fixers these days, so standing out for the others is the best way to survive in the industry. Our outfits are also quite radical compared to what other offices have. That's why it's filled with maniacs like us. All we gotta do is kill the targets in the most gruesome way possible and hang their bodies out in the open. No wonder everyone's excited to join. It's no different from what we've always been doing. At first I thought I was crazy and an office would do this kind of work. But I guess threatening targets and sending them a warning makes enough sense. Seems to be working well too. Though we've only been getting requests from no-name syndicates and poor folk, this office is a long way to go. It does feel more like a pack of rats than a proper office. Got a message from the boss. Says we should drop by to get new work. Even rascals like those can join offices these days, huh? The whole market's a red ocean. Everyone wants to be a fixer. And that doesn't count as raking yourself over the coals because... Listen, I may not look it, but I used to be hot stuff, you know? But then things happened and I fell to rock bottom. So, what'd you do for a living? I did all kinds of stuff, really. Doing things within my ability. Is that so? That means you didn't get to do any proper work then. Wow, we really did teleport in the blink of an eye. Is this one of those singularities? Lots of surprises these days. Greetings, dear guests. Hi there. What the? She's pretty damn sturdy. How much did you spend on that body? There is no need to needlessly exhaust yourself, dear guest. You'll need to rampage with all you have soon enough. In case you couldn't tell, one of the people just attempted to assault Angela. But she is a robot, as you know from Lobotomy Corporation lore, so that didn't work. I don't like your soft tone. You're not human, are you? Ooh, look at her face now. Guess she really isn't, Guess she really isn't. Yeah, another surprise. It's so rare to meet a sapient being that isn't human in this city. I know, right? We might get a ton of cash out of this. May you find your book in this place. I always like interpreting that Angela might say stuff like that through like gritted teeth if she's really pissed off at a guest. Like just, may you find your book in this place. Like begrudgingly kind of thing. I don't know, it's just a nice little character thing that I imagine Angela doing. Anyways, let's go beat up some murderers. So we don't have to feel bad about it this time. Well, at least not as bad anyway. Hook Office is going to give us some access to some really good dodge cards, as well as a lot of really good bleed cards as well. Hook Office is one of like the first proper introductions to the bleed status, which is one that we've been able to use since the start of the game thanks to the rats pages, but they weren't really a major part of the moveset of the rat pages, so to speak, so I didn't really talk about it too much. But yeah, bleed is a very powerful status. Plus, some of the pages even heal with stuff like Mutilate. Anyways, YOLO! Prevent bleed with enough lube. I don't think lube can protect you against knives, Lancer. I don't think you could stop bleeding with a... Don't think you could stop bleeding with lube. Anyways, McCullen is, on note, has like a really powerful card here, Overpower. It's a 5 to 6 roll on the first dice, meaning most of the time against weaker pages, it's guaranteed to win. So Overpower is a really powerful card we're going to want to get our hands on. But we do also have to be careful. These guys are killers after all. Let's see. Yeah, I've got enough light to start off with commandeering. Nice. Nice! Wow, damn, alright, that's one of them already dead. Good shit, Malkuth. Good shit. Anyways. Bonk. YOLO! You only live once with Matchlight is so fucking funny because you have the potential to roll like some ridiculously high numbers for this early in the game. It's such a funny combo. Granted, it has a pretty high likelihood of literally blowing up in your face, but it's still really funny. It's like, no, you don't get it, guys. The combo might be inconsistent, but it's funny. Curtain call for the reception of Hook Office.
이번에도 잘해줬어.
Great work as always. I can learn more about the offices thanks to these guests.
녀석들이
Don't get too bothered by what they said about you, alright?
위로하는 거야?
Are you trying to console me?
위로라고 해야 ha나.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't really care if you're actually human or not, you see.
신선하네.
That's refreshing to hear.
그런 위로를
It's been
들은
quite a
건
while since
꽤
I heard such
오래전이다.
words of comfort, even from one person too.
뭐,
Well, we're in the age of humanity after
인간의
all.
시대?
Age of humanity?
정확히 어떤
What does that
뜻이지?
mean exactly?
그렇게
Don't stare at me
쏘아봐도
too hard
말이지.
now. I don't know all the
나도
details either.
인간도 아니면서
At some point,
지성을 지닌
intelligent or sapient
존재들은
beings that weren't
도시에서
human were actively
적극적으로
driven out of the
외곽에
city into the
몰아냈어. 정확한
outskirts.
이유는 모르겠지만
I'm not too
그
sure why
이론
it
중
took
하나로
place, but the Artificial
인공지능
Intelligence
윤리
Ethics
개정안
Amendment
같은
was
것도
introduced as
생겼고,
part of that movement.
감정과
It
욕망을
was already
느낄 수
possible to create
있는
machines capable of feeling emotions
그러니까
and
사람과
desires.
다를 바 없는 기계를
Actually, those
만들어내는
are
것은
pretty
진작에
much human, in other
가능했지만
words.
바로 그 점이
I guess that was the
문제였던 것 같아.
problem.
그래서
Thanks to
인공지능
the
윤리
AI ethics
개정안으로
amendment, no machines
기계는
can ever be
물론
made to resemble
의지조차
humans,
인간과
including
유사하게
replacement
만들 수 없도록
bodies.
지적 몇몇 예외가 있어
Though there seems to
보이지만
have been a few exceptions.
저들 말처럼
It's as they
난
said,
인간이 아니야.
I'm no human,
만들어진
I'm a
기계야.
machine, an artificial being.
정확히는 내
To be precise, I was
설계의
designed
원본인
using a
인간으로
human as a template.
원본 내의 일부를
Only a
사용해서
fraction of her
만든
brain was
기계지.
used in my creation.
일체도 아니라
So it's not even a human brain resting in a robotic body?
의체 같은 것도 아닌 순수한 기계야.
Vettel put Nero into a robo-dog body. Yeah, I saw that. From VTuber to robot dog. Pretty soon they're gonna be a real life VTuber. Dog I am. Not all purely machine. What about that fraction of the human brain you
원본
mentioned?
내의 전자 설계
It was only an
복사본을
electronic
사용했을
map of her brain.
내 몸은 순수한
My
기계.
body is entirely composed of mechanical components.
왠지 그럴 것 같긴 했어.
I had a feeling.
그리고 세상 물정 참
And it looks
모르는
like you've
걸
been living
보니까
under a rock your whole
밥도
life,
먹고
seeing as
책
how
다
you're
산 것
oblivious to the
같고.
workings of the
그렇다면
world.
조심 좀 해야 해.
You gotta be extra careful then,
특히 언젠가
especially if you're planning to
넌
leave here
인간의
some way,
모습에
someday.
감정도 있고
You're a
욕구도
sapient
있는
android with emotions and
지성친구로
desires.
봐서
Your existence is most likely a
완벽하게
complete
윤리
violation of
개정을
the AI
어기고
ethics
막 머리에서
amendment.
그런 건
The
귀신같이
head is scarily good at spotting anomalies like you.
이 머리는
Alright.
도시
In case you don't
전체를
know,
주무르는
the head is basically a bunch
놈들이야.
of shady creeps that rule over the
아마
entire
만날
city.
일은 전혀
Though we
없겠지만
probably won't ever get to face them. Foreshadowing is a literary device in which...
아무튼
Anyways, this whole library is a huge risk in the first place. Librarians over here seem like they're humans, but not really human at the same time.
네 말대로야.
It's just as you say. I was designed to feel emotions, and I spent what felt like an eternity on a stage repeatedly performing a play that never seemed to end.
심지어 끝난 줄
When I thought it was
알았지만
finally over, turns out it never really ended. I gotta say, whoever created you must have really been something else too. I don't know what motivated them, but breaking the rules designated by the head itself takes more than just guts.
결국
No one can escape the head's
네
enforcement.
말대로 다 죽었지.
They did all eventually die.
그래도
The library will
도서관은
be
안전할
safe.
거야.
It has to be safe.
들어오는 것도
It's like a bird
나가는
cage.
것도
No one is free to enter,
자유롭지
and no one is
못한
free to leave.
또
Again with that
네가 하지
dreamy
말라고
speech you
해놓고
despise so
뜬금없는
much. What do you
소리
even mean by
언젠가
that?
이곳을 나가서
I will leave this place
날
one day,
입고로 만든
take
모든
revenge
것을
on all things that
대갚아주고
made me into what I am, and
자유를
earn
얻을
true
거야.
freedom.
아무튼 난 별로
I don't
신경
care
안
too much
써.
either way.
그건 그거고
That's that, and this is
이건
this.
이거니까.
That is Roland's
이
catchphrase.
친구는 2층의 지정사서
Let's see.
예소드.
This guy's Yesod from floor 2,
기술과학분야 서적에
patron
담당하고.
librarian of technological sciences. Hey, look, it's the edgy turtleneck
안녕,
boy.
난 롤랑이야.
Hey there,
엔젤라의
name's
시종지.
Roland, Angela's servant.
기술과학의 층을 담당하게 된
I am
지정사서
Yesod, the
예소드입니다.
patron librarian of the floor of technological sciences.
엔젤라와는 다른 차가운
Is it
시선이
just me, or is
느껴지는
this a
것
cold and
같기도
piercing stare I'm sensing? Feels kind of different from Angela's, I gotta say. What now?
설마
Don't tell me.
너도 듣기
You're one of those
싫은
types that
말
resort to
들으면
violence
폭력으로
when someone
해결하는 타입이야?
talks crap.
넥타이가 풀어졌군요.
Your necktie was loose. Oh,
고마워.
thanks.
상냥한 친구야.
Guess you're a nice fellow after all.
엔젤라를 순순히
Tell
도와주는
me,
이유가 무엇입니까?
why do you comply with Angela's orders so meekly?
나야 뭐 도와주는
Well,
거
mostly
말고는
because I have no
선택지가
choice
없으니까.
but to help her.
말코트도 그렇고.
Now that I think about it,
너도
Malkuth didn't seem too
엔젤라가
fond
마음에
of
들지 않는
Angela
거야?
either. Is it a trend to dislike her or something?
당연하지 않습니까?
It's obvious that we wouldn't approve of her.
엔젤라는
Angela, she
우리의
utterly
소원을
crushed our
마지막에
hopes at the very
무참히
last moment.
복잡한 이야기인 것
Sounds
같구만.
complicated.
그럼 넌 왜 사서로 일하고 있는
Why are
거야?
you working for her as a librarian then?
그런
It
거래였습니다.
was part of the deal. A
거래라고?
deal, huh?
도서관의 층이
I
잠겨
guess that deal is also why
있고
most of the floors of the library are locked off and the librarians there are asleep.
복잡한 이야기인 질색인데.
Boy, I am not a fan of
그것도
convoluted
감정적인
stories,
문제라면.
especially if it involves sentimental stuff.
어쨌든 너나 나나
Anyway, both you and I are
엔젤라를
obligated to help
도와야 하는
Angela now, aren't we?
그렇습니다.
That is true.
거잖아. 그럼 앞으로 잘 부탁해.
Let's give it our best shot then. Put her
뭡니까?
there. What is the meaning of
악수
this?
몰라?
A handshake,
해보자는
duh.
의미의 악수.
Never tried it before? You know, the I look forward to working with you kind?
이왕 이렇게 된 거
Come
인상
on, lighten
쓰고
up a
잘
little. If
해보자고.
we can't avoid it, we might as well enjoy it.
말코트처럼
I'm supposed to get you books like I do with Malkuth, right?
그렇습니다.
Indeed. My role is to
저는
collect and
그중에서도
sort books about the
도시의
technological
기술과학에 대한
sciences of the
책을
city,
분류합니다.
specifically.
당신이 할 일과
Since it's
제가 할
become
일은
clear that we are
명백하니
both well aware of
이쯤에서
our
돌아가시죠.
occupations, kindly take your leave now.
예.
Fine,
안 그래도
fine. I was
그러려고
about to
했습니다.
anyway. The floor of technological sciences is now opened. We have reached a new library level, Urban Myth. They do not have the time to think about the terror at the end of the song, before the setting of the sun. Scene 2, Urban Myth.
뒤틀림에 대해
Any more
하나
reports on the
협회나
distortion from the
지바이
Hana
일과에서
Association or
내려온
Y Section 1?
네. 아직
None,
상황을
sir.
주시하는
They're all
중입니다.
observing the situation for now.
하지만
They
유효한
did nominate a
후보는
number of
몇 개
likely
있습니다.
suspects, however.
도시 질병인 꿈의
So far, we have 2
세탁소와
urban
어제의
plague
약속,
tier entities,
그리고 도시
Laundry of
전설인
Dreams and Yesterday's
톱니교단
Promise,
정도입니다.
and 1 urban legend, the Church of Gears.
이거
The investigation hasn't been going too well,
아,
is it?
그리고
Oh,
이번에
and
도시
the
교단으로
library,
지정된
a recently appointed
도서관이란
urban myth,
곳도
is also on the
후보에
list of
있습니다.
possible
위에서도
sources.
잡히는 게 없으니 마구잡이로
So even the
늘려대는
higher-ups are clueless, aren't they? Seeing as throwing out random guesses now.
책 정리하는 것도
I'm
꽤
starting to get used to sorting out
익숙해져가네.
books now.
순순히 도와주는
Tell
이유가
me,
뭐야?
why are you helping me so submissively? Huh?
네가 안
Remember when you
도와주면
said
날
you'd kill me if I don't
죽여버린다면서.
cooperate? Because I sure do.
게다가 혼자서는
I can't leave here by myself either.
공포에 의해서 행동하는
Though you don't appear to be
사람들은
motivated by
보이지
fear?
않아. 난꽤 많은 사람들이 공포에
I've seen quite a lot of
사로잡혀
people
바닥을
crawl along
기는
the
모습을
floor stricken with
봐왔거든.
fear and
그런
terror.
예전 일들로
Judging from my
미뤄봐서
past observations, I
넌
doubt you're helping me
단지
simply because you're
죽음이
afraid of
두려워서
dying.
무슨 일을 해오던 거야?
The hell were you doing in the past?
솔직히 말하자면
To be honest, I have a
나도
few
이곳에서
things I
알아가고
want to know
싶은 게
about this
있어.
place too.
무엇을?
Such as?
넌이
You
도시의
said you want to
책을
get the one
모아감과
perfect book
동시에
as you gather books about
단
the city,
하나의
right?
왓그렇다면 나도
I figured I could
그
provide us
과정에서
some fun
재밌는 것들을
experiences if I
경험해볼
joined
수
you on
있고
that
어차피
journey.
지금 나가봤자
I don't have a whole lot to do
마땅히
out there
할 일도
anyway.
없어.
I'd go back to being a washed-up
밑바닥
fixer
해결사
scraping
인생의
at the bottom of the
반복이지.
barrel
그리고
again.
무엇보다
And there is one thing I've been meaning to
나도
figure out more
알아내고
than
싶은
anything
것이
else.
이곳에서 너의 일을
I'm
돕다
hoping I can
보면
maybe find an answer
알게
here
될
one
수
day if I
있지
stick around and
않을까.
help you out.
이해관계가
We have a
일치했다는
coincidence of
거네.
interests, I see.
그래.
So,
내가 널
sure,
이용하는 만큼
as much as I exploit
너도
you,
날
you're free to make
이용할
use
수
of
있어. 하지만
me.
조심해.
Try to be careful about it,
어설프게
though. A
이용했다가는
careless attempt could seriously
정말
get you killed.
무슨 말을 그렇게 살벌하게
Sheesh, you're
하냐.
being way too vicious
전에
with
무슨
words.
일이 있었길래
So what made you so sharp?
힘먹지 않는 게 좋을 거야.
You'd better not pry into my past
이번에는
any further.
팔다리를
I already
천천히
feel like
녹여줄 수
slowly
있어.
melting your limbs this time.
말을 못하겠네.
Fine,
저,
jeez.
궁금한 게 있습니다.
I have a question,
질문
ma'am.
받습니까?
Do you take questions, ma'am?
뭔데?
What is it now?
가려서 못
Make sure it's an
대답해.
appropriate question. I
경고는
did warn you
했으니까.
already.
이곳의 사서들은
What's up
대체
with the
뭐야?
librarians here?
인간은
don't
아닌
really
것 같고
Feel like real
그렇다고
humans.
기계나 인조
But they don't seem to be
생명체도
machines or
아닌 것
artificial
같고요.
creatures either.
예전 이 시설에서 이용만 당해왔던
Entities called abnormalities and employees, both of which were thoroughly exploited by the facility that once stood upon where we
나와
are.
다를 바 없는
They're just
존재들이야.
like me in that sense.
인간으로부터
Originated from
비롯된 채
humans, taken
한껏
advantage of, and
이용당할 대로
abandoned once grown out of
지금도
use.
이용당하고 있는
I don't know what
것
you're
같은데
doing with them now still looks like exploitation.
망가져버렸어.
They were broken.
금방이라도
They couldn't
사라질
even
것
sustain a
같이
stable
옅어진
form, and their
존재를
existence was so fragile they could
인간의
fade
몸과
away at any
책으로
moment.
묶어두고 있을
They're barely
뿐이지.
kept together as I bound them to a physical body and a
내가
book.
할 수 있는 건
All I can do for
나와
them now is
사슬을
find the one
자유롭게
book that'll free
책을
me
찾는
and the
것뿐이야.
librarians.
사서들을 밖에 풀어둘 거라고?
You're gonna release the
그러지
librarians?
않고서야
That's the only way for
나뿐만
any of us to
아니라
leave, you
너도 너의
know.
몸을 복구하는 데
They use the
있어서
same kind of power to
같은 힘을
reconstruct your
사용했으니.
body.
이것 하나만 기억해.
Just remember
손님들이
this.
펼치는
As we
수많은
collect
책을
numerous
모으다
books from our
보면
guests, we will eventually
결국
reach the one
모든
absolute
게
book that
담긴
contains
단
everything.
하나의 책에 도달.
How vague and potentially ominous. Anyway, time for more book burning. Are there any femboys in this series? There are a few, yes. Yeah, Hook Office has a lot of fantastic cards available. In addition, we've now unlocked general invitations. We can now just throw together any assemblage of books that we like, and we will get some unique encounters from just throwing them together. And when you're assembling the books, you can see, when you're assembling them, it does let you see if you've already fought that group of enemies. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Good stuff. Ouch. Get him! Yeah! We did it! But yeah, I've already got all of McCullen's cards, so I want to kill him here first. Okay, perfect. Just what I was looking for. Damn it. Bonk. Stab. Dodge. Nice. Also, when it does come to repeat fights like this that are relatively easy, I am going to be using the auto battle function. Since, you know, we are just going back to these fights and farming them for character pages, so it's not like we need to be on the tippy top of our game now that we know that we can easily beat it. There we go. Current call for the reception of Hook Office. We got a bunch of copies of Taians, which is nice. Alright, nice. So I think that's the last of McCullen's pages, and we've got most of Naoki's. We just need 2 of Taian's pages. Let's see. Yep, we just need 1 more of Taian's pages. Anyways, all of the Hook Office fixers have the passive ability that they have the passive ability Hook. Upon defeating an enemy, gain 1 strength next scene. It's honestly not too bad, all things considered. In addition, we also got a bunch of new cards for it. Track recovers 1 HP, and it's a 0-cost card. Pretty decent, all things considered. Though preparation is still our best option because, again, you know, light restoration, very nice. Overpower is an absolutely fantastic card, along with fend this off if you can, just due to the sheer amount of bleed and everything that they can inflict. And then Rampage is just an absolutely fantastic 3 card. Like, absolutely fantastic 3 cost, especially if you've got somebody like Malkuth backing up the defensive side for this floor. Like, absolutely fantastic. No complaints from me, dog. This is that good shit. Anyways, time for one last run through the Hook Office fights. Oh, both the enemies didn't have any cards to play on their first turn. That's sad. Ouch. I should not have talked shit, evidently. Nice. Bonk. Yeah. And now this round, we just gotta focus on killing Taian last. Bonk! Yeah, Overpower is mad strong for this early in the game. Like, this card is fucking wild. Dang it. Oh, well. We want him to survive anyway. Let's hit him with the Rampage. And we'll hit you with the Commandeering. Nice. Yeah, like I said, absolutely brutal card. That thing is busted. bustin'. Nice. I'm glad that we haven't had any more pages die. Just filling in the spreadsheet a bit. But yeah, now if we go to the invitation and just do something like, say for example, throw in just a book of Arnold, just a completely random book, we will get a random encounter. Specifically, some encounters against the Backstreet's Butchers. With the passive Open Wound, deal +1 damage to enemies with bleed. Very powerful when paired up with something like Overpower. And they even have some really good cards of their own. Appetite, 3 to 4 pierce damage. On hit, inflict 1 bleed next scene. This is the start of the game giving us a lot of very good cards, specifically for bleed builds. Like, for example, that card that they're using there, Cruelty, recovers health equal to the bleed stacks on the target. Very, very powerful. Oh yeah, speaking of the bleed status, for the scene, take 2 damage and subtract 1/3 of the bleed stack every time the character rolls an offensive dice. Rounds up. So the character will be consistently taking bleed damage whenever they attack, and in addition, it will only decrease by 1/3. So bleed is very powerful. In earlier versions of the game, believe it or not, it actually used to be even more overpowered. But it was nerfed through a bunch of later patches, and I can only imagine how overpowered some of the some of like the pre-nerf bleed builds would have been with like endgame cards. Like that shit would have been busted. Anyways, that's the Butchers taken down. Curtain call for the reception of the Backstreet Butchers. We got Dark Alleys of the Backstreets, Volume 1, and the Guide to District 23. Guide to District 23 gives us the Backstreet Butcher pages, which we can get 5 of. And Dark Alleys of the Backstreets just gives us a bunch of cards from like the Hook Office and everything. Very good stuff. It also gives us the generic Hook Office Fixer pages, which, while are not the most necessary thing in the world, but they are definitely helpful. Plus, we also get access to cards like Multi-Hit now. There are a lot of like generic cards with stuff like Strong Strike, Pound, etc. But in addition, now that I actually have some of the better bleed cards, I can upgrade this build a bit. Since this build is absolutely a bleed build. Let's add in a copy of Appetite and 2 copies of Cruelty. There we go, that seems good, because the rest of these are just very solid like bleed-inflicting cards for like Overpower, Fence Off You Can, etc. So having a bit of healing on this build is going to be very nice. Anyways, what if we put in... Ah yeah, the only one we can get at the moment from the looks of things is just Backstreet Butchers. Or maybe if we put in the Guide to District 23, we can get, yeah, the Hook Office Remnants. After we took out some of their main fixes, they didn't exactly take it too well. So now we're just fighting what's left of them. Anyways, let's start off with getting the protection going and getting some bleed up. Alright, Malka's taking a bit of damage, but that's fine. I tied on all the rampage hits, god damn it. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine, don't worry about it. It's all good. Daijobu. For God's sakes, my rampage hits were just not hitting very high. Ah, God, he's staggered. Okay, that could hurt a bit. But it's fine, because 2 of the enemies are staggered as well. Nice. Nice. We got a bit of health back at least. And one of them's down. Sweet. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, Ashley, if you could stop losing clashes, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Nice. Alrighty, good stuff. Bit close for comfort with Ashley, but we should be fine. Well, we did end up fine. We got Hook Office Volume 2. Gives us some more general Hook Office cards, as well as a Hook Office Fixer Page 2. And again, just more copies of Dark Alleys of the Backstreets. Let's see. I've got 5 Backstreet Butcher page 1s, but only 4 of the page 2s. I do have all the Hook Office Fixer pages that I'll need, which is good. I forget. Which invitation is the... Yeah, here we go. Because it got... Yeah, a Guide to District 23 is what gets me that. Alright. Like I said, we gotta make sure that we're stocking up as many key pages as we can early, because, you know, once things start getting more difficult, we're gonna want to have insurance. Gotta have some run insurance. Gotta have some fucky-wucky insurance. In case I fuck up and get a character killed. Like I did with the fucking Scorched Girl fight earlier. Seriously, that's probably like my most embarrassing moment in all of Library of Ruina. Like, I just feel so stupid for losing not 1 but 2 key pages to that fight. Like, holy. I feel so stupid. But, ah well. The past is in the past. The Scorched Girl is on our side now. She is helping us do the big damage. Bonk. Okay, they are all going after her. After Malkuth, which is... I mean, that's honestly fine. We would have been in a lot more trouble if all the enemies were going after the staggered person. Like, if all the enemies were going after Ashley, we actually could have had a problem there. But thankfully, they weren't. So we are fine. Anyway, speaking of Ashley... she just rips a poor fucker to shreds. Dink, dink, bonk. Shank. Stab. Nice. Good this stuff. Oh, even got some special headwear. Backstreet's researcher. Neat. Anyways, we can get the last of our butcher pages we need. Nice. Anyway, speaking of butchers... Nope, not this. That won't do either. I can't seem to find the one that strikes me with inspiration. Hello there, Dash Dash. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great night.
아이, 피에르.
Hey there, Pierre. Brought you fresh ones this time. They got bruised a bit too hard, but they're still breathing. Hey, Dash Dash 15356. Thank you for the follow. Super appreciate it.
뭐야?
What? Busy developing a new dish? Welcome back, Jack. Dishes are one thing, but we're running way too short on ingredients these days. Luckily, I have my reliable friend Jack here, so I won't have to worry about that for a while. What happened? The musicians of Bremen say they're no longer selling ingredients to us. Those freaks were always unpredictable. What about little piggies then? Same deal. Stop trading with us. We'll have to do this the old way. You and I together. I'd love to, but we can't go to our usual spot anymore. The Zwei Association is safeguarding that area now. Then we should pioneer new supply chains. While we're at it, I want to be more experimental with ingredients. I've only been using young ones for far too long. That's unfortunate. I'll miss the pasty hand pies that you make. You'll have to deal with it, unfortunate as it is, since we've lost several vendors that used to provide quality meat for us. Sticking to conventional dishes won't cut it. Gourmets will surely notice the drop in quality of our ingredients. You're aiming to become one of the 8 chefs, right, Pierre? That's right. The 8 chefs are the brightest, the stars of the city that shine over us. They never fail to present us with stunning and sensational flavors. It's gonna be kind of tough. Oh yeah, I know that this fight's a bit difficult. So for those of you that don't know, Pierre and Jack here are from a quirky little district known as District 23 that is in search of the fabled Flavor Town, as it were. And they get there by cooking and eating people. Like actual people, literal cannibalism. It's just something that happens in this city. And apparently the 8 chefs are the best cannibal chefs in the city. So, you know, quite the dangerous individuals. What kind of ingredients are you looking for? Aged ones should be easier to get, though their meat tends to be squishy. Not everyone's favorite, but some like it. I'm not looking for a compromise. I want a taste that differentiates us from other restaurants. Ever heard of the library? I heard monsters live there. It may still be an urban myth, but monster meat's usually hard to get unless you travel all the way to the outskirts. Oh, now that's promising. Isn't it? I got an invitation for that library some time ago, see? I'll surprise the gourmets with a dish that's so stimulating and novel it can even rival the 8 chefs themselves. So, Jack, you can just count on me and follow my lead. Understand? What are we going to do with the ingredients I brought in today, then? Let's turn them into jam. We're bottling them alive, so put on drips of anesthetics and repressors and store them in the kneader. Meat jam's nice. I knew you'd love it. Oh, and as I said before, you have to put on legs first, not head first.
다리부터
Gotta keep them alive as
안
long as
그렇-
possible, you know?
바로
It's not
죽어버리면
flavorful if you die too
다시 안
quickly.
뒷골목에서는 인간을
Cannibalism is a thing in the back streets, it
그런
seems.
악취미를 가진
There are
미친
quite a few
비한테도
perverted
있겠지.
maniacs who are into that,
근데
yeah.
아무리 뒷골목
But it's kind of a
사람이라도
taboo even in the
인육을
back
먹는다고
streets.
당당하게
Certainly can't go
말하지
around
않아.
saying how tasty human
오히려
meat
돈
is.
좀 있는
It's actually
녀석들이
wealthy folk
사람
who
고기를
consume
먹지.
human meat the most.
뭐
However,
23구
the back streets of
골목에선
District
일반적이지만
23 are an exception.
그것은 수단과
People
방법을
there
가리지
only care
않고
about pursuing the
궁극에만
ultimate
나는
flavor.
추구하는 것이니까.
Will do anything for it.
뒷골목마다
Each
다른
part of
점이
the back
있나 보네?
street seems to have its own set of
관할
characteristics.
둥지와 날개가
Mostly
정한
depends on the
방침에
policies set by
따른다고
the nest of the
그래봤자
wing. The most of the
대부분의
back streets are
뒷골목은
being neglected
방치되고
anyway.
인간 고기는
Is
특별히
human
더
meat
맛있는 거야?
particularly delicious or anything?
몰라.
Heck if I know.
먹어본
Never
적도
tried,
없고
never
막
wanna.
저기서 구해오는
Those guys are
재료들은
kidnapping
전부
ordinary people
멀쩡한
and cooking
사람들.
them right after.
미식가들은 그
Or may seem to
잔혹함까지
think such
조미료라
cruelty only
생각하면서
adds to the
게다가
flavor.
살아있는 채로
Even
고통스럽게
worse, they believe
요리될수록
cooking people alive
맛있다나
and making them suffer as much as possible is the key to perfecting
인간이
taste.
인간에게 먹히는
Humans
꼴이라니.
eating humans. What a sight to behold. This is a brand new smell.
좋아하는
I don't
냄새는
think I like
아닌데.
this scent.
오히려
Now,
이런
Jack,
낯선 곳에서
it's unfamiliarity like this that brings forth
거라고.
new ideas, you see. Listen, chat. I just gotta say, why'd they have to make the cannibalism chef mommy look like that? Like, fellas, I know she would eat me, but I 100% would. If you say so.
환영합니다, 손님.
Greetings, dear
전 이곳
guests.
도서관의
I am
관장이자
Angela,
사성,
the director and
엔젤라입니다.
librarian of my role's namesake. Wow, what a wonderful looking
같이 번지르르
ingredient.
한 이런
Such a
세상
glossy
분명
appearance.
겉보기에는
She
신선해
certainly
보이는
looks like a fresh
제삼급
chopped green ingredient on the
재료지만
outside, but Pierre?
아쉽지만
Yeah, I
사람은
know.
아니군.
She's unfortunately not
하지만
human.
오히려 그래서 더
But
기대돼.
that's why I'm even more
넌 무슨
excited.
맛일까?
How do you
저를 어떻게 하실
taste?
수는 없답니다.
I'm afraid you cannot do any
그건
harm to me.
해보기 전에
We never know until we
참아,
try.
잭.
Stay
소리를
calm,
지켜야지.
Jack. We should keep our manners.
이 멋진
She's the
곳에
wonderful
초대해 주신
individual who
분이잖아?
invited us here, you see.
Oh, 실례를 보면서
I
죄송합니다.
apologize for my
저희를
rudeness,
초대해주신
ma'am.
엔젤라는
Now then,
입장에도
Miss Angela,
되겠습니까?
may we enter now?
당신의
May you
책을
find
찾으실
your
수
book in this place. Anyways, we've got Jack and Pierre. These two are interesting, and mainly due to their abilities. Pierre's page makes her recover 10 HP upon defeating an enemy, and Jack's page makes him recover 2 HP at the start of each scene. In addition, they've also got a lot of very powerful cards. Stuff like Cruelty, Appetite, Ingredient Hunt. Keep It Fresh is an alright card. I Can Cook Anything is a really powerful one because it's a guaranteed heal on hit, which is definitely consistent. And of course, Cooking Prep is an absolutely phenomenal card. Something even better near the end of the game. Oh, and don't worry, Dash. I meant this is the Nuzlock, like it says in the title and everything. I have played through this game before, so you can chat about whatever in chat. I'm not really trying to keep it too... I'm not really like super heavily regulating spoilers or anything. And yeah, don't worry, Lancer. We'll meet another chef mommy way later down the line. She's quite the eccentric type, that one. Let's just say I hope you like oral, because she's got quite a lot of it to give. Anyways, god-awful sex jokes aside, things are going pretty well so far. The forbidden hot dog! Anyways, we got this fight like pretty well wrapped up here, I'd say. Rampage is just that busted of a card. Fave character? Yeah, that's a tough question. Well, I do like the arc that Philip goes through. He is definitely still a bit of a piss baby. What a bunch of nutcases. It's best not to interact with the likes of
그래도
them.
너보다 예의는
At least they were
있던데.
more well-mannered than you.
여기서 어리숙한
Well, here's a word of wisdom
사서님께들이는
for a still
삶의
naive
지식하나.
Miss Librarian. If you meet a polite and well-mannered person in the back streets,
무조건
run for your life.
정신 나간 녀석들이
Not all lunatics
모두
are polite,
예의 바른 건
but polite
아니지만.
people tend to be lunatics.
그러면 예의랑은
I'm not sure if that has
상관없는
anything to do with
자,
politeness.
여기서 두
And
번째
there's another
지시.
word of wisdom.
미친놈들은
Lunatics
언제나
always
일정한
exist in
길로
any given
존재하기
group of
때문에
people, so there's no
특정
point using any
기준으로
criteria to
분별하는 건
divide people into
의미가
groups to see
없다.
which is more insane.
개소리야.
What a load of bull. Anyways, we've got the Book of Jack, which will give us Jack's page, and the Book of Pierre. Unfortunately, Jack died right away, so we're gonna have to do the fight again in order to get his pages. I'm gonna stick with the way I have Ashley set up for now. However, I am going to copy over Ashley's bleed build to Yesod, so for his floor. Yeah, I suppose we could do the Abno fight now. Might as well. The Book of the Forsaken Murderer. Forsaken Murderer. Wrath. Deal double stagger damage on successful attack. Fear. All dice lose 4 power when the character has status effects. Good thing we're running a bleed build. Yeah, the Forsaken Murderer fight isn't necessarily too difficult. Given that he has, given that his whole thing is that he has, his attacks become weaker when he's inflicted with a status, So as long as we keep the bleed up on him, he's not going to be able to really do anything. It's funny that you unlock this fight. It's actually like a really cool game design thing that you unlock, you have to stack the bleed, lol. Yep. But yeah, it is definitely, it's definitely a cool game design thing that you unlock that floor right after getting the card, right after 2 fights in a row that give you cards that heavily emphasize bleed. It makes it very easy to get the status effect requirement of it off. It's like, oh, the game wants me to use the status effects cards that I got now. Neat.
이번에도 옷이 흐트러져 있군요.
Clothes are still slovenly. Straightens Roland's attire once again.
고맙긴 한데
Appreciate it, but feels kind of awkward to be
정갈한
honest.
몸가짐으로부터
Proper attitude
제대로
of the
된
mind begins
마음가짐이
with a
나오는
well-constructed
것입니다.
body.
일단은
Well, I guess I should say
무슨
thanks.
일로 오셨죠?
What is your business this time?
책도 전달해주고
Nothing unusual. Got some
겸사겸사
books to
물어보고
deliver
싶은
and
게
some
있어서
questions to
말이야.
ask.
말쿠트에게 들었는데
Heard from Malkuth that the librarians here
사서들은
used to be
예전에
humans long ago.
인간이었다면서?
Is that true?
그렇습니다.
It is.
전부 한가닥
Were you all
싸움 좀
seasoned
했던 거야.
brawlers in your past lives then?
조직의
Like the
행동대장
ringleaders of
같은 거야.
syndicates?
근데 또 해결사가
Although my
달려서
intuition as a
불러본 내
fixer's telling me
눈에는
otherwise.
맞습니다.
Your observation would be correct.
당신 말처럼
None of
저희는
us live
전투와
such a
연이
violent
없는
life.
몇몇 예외는 있습니다만 대다수가 그렇습니다.
Although he is locked up in the suit, how the hell is he as free as other people? Say for a couple of exceptions,
그치?
that is. I
근데
knew it.
어떻게
How are you still so
손님들과
skillful
그렇게
at dealing
능숙하게
with guests,
책의
though?
힘입니다.
It's thanks to the books. You gain the
책을
powers of
통해
the previous
손님들의
guests through
힘을
the books.
얻으니까.
아하.
Oh, so
그래서
that's why you
책이
guys seem to grow sort of
쌓여갈수록
stronger with
뭔가
every
더
book I gave you.
도서관이라는
In
공간에서
the library,
책은
books
힘을
act as a
부여합니다.
source of power. Emotions can do the
감정법으로
same.
누군가의 책을
Through
통해서
books, we can imbue our own
그들의
bodies
육체에
with senses
새겨진
and strengths that were
감각과 힘을
engraved in others'
더씌운 그리고
bodies.
이곳 도서관은
Moreover, the
감정을
library can
증폭시키는
amplify the
공간이죠.
emotions of its denizens. It acts upon visitors and
이
residents
책이란
alike.
거
Wow, these
생각보다
books
훨씬
are a lot more
대단하네.
impressive than I thought.
책이라는 게
Heck,
공방의
it might even be
시술이나
better than the
도구보다도
surgeries and
좋은데.
tools most workshops have to
정보도
offer.
정보지만
Information's one thing, but this could be a
기능력은
real
정말 돈이
moneymaker.
되겠.
세속적으로
You think in secular
생각하는군요.
돈에
terms.
쪼들려 살아온
Call the
사람의
pathetically tearful
눈물겨운
survival instincts of a man who's lived
불러줄래?
most of his life in poverty, will ya?
아무튼 궁금한 점
Anyways, that's all
해결됐어.
for your questions. Thanks for your kind
착각하지
answers.
마시기 바랍니다.
Don't mistake this for
전
kindness.
당신에게 좋은
I do not
감정은
particularly
없습니다.
think highly of you. You're nothing more than
엔젤라의
Angel's lapdog.
계란이 말이 너무
Hey,
심하네.
that's rude. I didn't take this
알잖아,
job
나도
by
어쩔 수
어쩔 수
choice.
없다는 것이
Does that
면제부가
necessarily
될까요?
exempt you from guiltiness, however?
볼일 다 보셨으면
Now, if you're done
이만
with your
돌아가
errands,
주시기
kindly
바랍니다.
take your leave. That little piece of shit. Anyways. Ow. We now have access to the abnormality cards for the floor of technological sciences. We got metallic ringing. Upon successful blunt attack, inflict 1 bind and 1 paralysis next scene. Really good for blunt cards. Violence lowers the minimum value of all dice by 1 and raises the maximum value by 3. Also really good for potential cards that have, like, adds a bit of variance to cards that might not otherwise really have any, and potentially let you hit those high numbers you really need. And Chained Wrath. Blunt dice gain 1 to 3 power, but your speed is fixed at 1. Really solid for a character that comes in to do a lot of damage after the fact, as opposed to a character that starts off the fight, if that makes any sense. They'll be they'll be stuck moving last, but they will do a ton of damage. Anyways, we gotta go back in so we can get Jack's key page. So we can get Jack's key pages. So you know what that means? More murder! Hooray! Bonk. Let's just both of you just go for Pierre. Just fuck her up. Nice. Dink. Ding. Donk. Stabby, stabby. Mission accomplished. Curtain call for the reception of Pierre's Bistro. Let's see, we need 4 copies of Jack's book and I think 1 more copy of Pierre's, I want to say. So we got 3 copies of Jack's page. Let's see. Do I want to do... I mean, yeah, I might as well. Let's see. I am going to swap Tyen's page out for Jack's page since it's just a straight up upgrade. Let's see. Yeah, I need 1 more copy of Jack's page. All right, back into the meat mines again. Back into the bistro meat mines. Anyway, it's time for Pierre to roll a 1. That's a funny interaction. Because I used no escape, which lowered the max value of the second die on I can cook anything by 3, meaning that it was forced to roll a 1, which I just think is really funny. That's the thing, sometimes cards can have like really funny interactions with one another that can go either very well or very poorly for you. Regardless, it's very funny regardless of which way it happens. Also, here's an interesting thing. If you select a option with the character with the higher speed die, it will, even if you're already clashing with them with another character, it'll override it. So sometimes you might have to shuffle around your cards to make sure that you're having the right character attack the right target. Alrighty. That should hopefully be the last of Jack's key pages that we need. Bap. Nice. Looks like we got everything. Good stuff. Yeah, Jack's page is really good as like a somewhat early game tank option, for lack of a better term, given the consistent heal every turn. Anyways, we throw in those books, and who do we get?
우리 사무소는 왜 파리만 날릴까?
Why is our office so unpopular with
이래봬도
clients?
치과협회 지정
Our office is
사무소인데
officially
말이야.
designated by the ZY Association as an affiliate too.
게다가
And the
가로등
crime rate of
사무소가
territory
의뢰받은
secured by the
치안
Streetlight
구역은
Office remains at a
계약
remarkable
기간 동안
0%
무려 0%.
as long as the contract is in
우리가 만든
effect.
치안 구역이라 해봤자 두
We
블록 정도가
only
고작이다.
cover 2 blocks of the space at most, though. He's got a point.
그리고 이 일은
We'll
기다리다
eventually
보면
get work if we wait.
그래.
Yeah,
그렇게
sure, you can keep
평생
waiting for the rest of your
기다리기만 해.
life. I'm seriously
난
considering moving to another
다른
office.
사무소로 쉽게
Never
이적할
thought you'd
만한
have what it takes to
실력을
work for a
가지고
bigger
있는
나
office.
카사린 너와
Unlike
다르게
you, I have several business
일하면서
connections
다운
I made from
연출이 꽤
experience.
많거든.
Do you understand?
너네 어머니가
Your mother must be
전설적인
too busy being a
해결사인지
legendary
뭔지는
fixer or
몰라도
whatever.
난
Well, I have
바로
friends who can help me right
네,
away.
정말
Yeah, some great
대단하십니다.
fixer you are.
네네.
Yeah,
정말
why
대단하죠.
thanks. I know I'm great.
야,
Hey, you ate the
냉장고에
cake in the
케이크
fridge,
누가
didn't you? Guys, I have work for you. Fighting again, are
이
you?
새끼가 냉장고에 있던 케이크를
This
그냥
SOB ate the
먹었어.
cake without even asking me.
유통기한이 어제까지여서
The expiration
내가
date
미리
was
처리한
yesterday, so I took
것뿐이라니까.
care of it, that's all. It's my cake, and even if it's expired, I'll take care of it on my own.
일이라면?
Anyway, boss, how about that
말
work?
돌리지 마.
Don't change the topic. I'll get you
케이크는
another
내가 새로
cake,
사줄
so calm
테니까
down for a moment, alright?
그렇지만
But
그건 기간
that was a
한정인데.
limited edition
사실
cake. I'm
나도
still rather
미심쩍은
skeptical
일이지만
about it, but I got this one for a
협회에
friend
있는
of mine at the
친구로부터
association.
선배 친구라면
You mean that associate
치과협회의
fixer working
직속
directly under the
해결사
ZY?
맞아.
Yes, it's
아직
her.
하나협회에서는
The Hana
공식적인
Association has yet to
안건으로
consider this
처리하고
request as
있지
a
않은
subject that
문제야.
needs to be addressed
혹시
officially.
도서관이라는
Have you
곳에서
heard of the
들어본 적이 있어?
library?
이야기는 지나가다
Some
들어본 적
stories of
있어.
it. We overheard rats talking about it.
도서관에서 얻을 수 있는
Said the
책이
books in that place have
값어치가
tremendous
굉장하-
value or
바로
whatever.
그 도서관의
I see.
초대장이란 것을
I retrieved an
친구에게
invitation to
받아왔어.
that library from my friend I just
그런데
mentioned.
공식적인 일이
But we
아니라
might not get much payment for this
의뢰비도
request if it's off the
공식
record.
경력에도
And it won't
비록
count
안
towards
될
our official
거고
career
뭐,
either. Such as it
협회도
is,
협회
the
나름대로.
association's trying to
그리고
remain cautious
정확한
about it.
정보도 없는
Are
곳에
we really going to walk
제발로
right into a
들어간다.
place we know
여성
nothing
말로는
about?
이번 일을 잘
She
처리해주면
did promise to
도시전설급
see
의뢰에
to it that
해당하는
we're
보수를
awarded with pay
지급할 수 있도록
comparable to an
힘써준다나
urban
봐.
legend class request if everything goes down well. Now they're talking. Just need a bit of monetary incentive and they're all over it. Everybody can be swayed with money. That's just the way of the world. Surely it was a bad idea after all, don't you think? Let's do this. Guess we have no choice. Still too uncertain, but we need the money. Haven't been busy lately. Thanks everyone. We'll get through it like we always have. Swai?
하나?
해결사협회를 말하는 거야. 사무소를 차린다고 만사 해결은 아니거든.
We're talking about associations of fixers. It takes more than just setting up an office to jump into the fixer business. There are a total of 12 fixer associations across the city in charge for different types of work. They also have a name based off of a different language version of a number. So for example, we have the Hana Association, which is 1, and then we have the Zwei Association, which is 2. There's also stuff like the Sync Association, etc., etc. It's really cool. Cases or requests are all sorted according to the type and sent to one of the associations. Associations manage offices and delegate work to them, I see. That's right. Sometimes the association might send documents to multiple offices at once, or directly have associate fixers take care of the work. And among them, the Hana Association is in overall control of fixers. They grade fixers and authorize offices and stuff. Do offices have their own grades like fixers? Essentially, the requests sent out by the association are graded too. They really love to grade things, don't they? It's easier to know that way. Know what? Know how valuable I am as a person. Think about it. Whom in the city could claim, this is my work, with confidence? Everyone's busy minding their own business. No one's going to lounge around having deep conversations about each other's value. Knowing each other's grades and affiliations, on the other hand, could save a ton of words. You can tell if you're above or below the person you're talking to right away. Sounds like people stop trying to learn or think about it at some point. Bet you won't say the same once you're experiencing city life for a bit. You have to interact with so many people out there, whether you want to or not. People have been looking for ways to adapt to the city, and this is just one of them. Guess we really are desperate to think we'd take on a job like this. Stop complaining. We should be glad to have work at all. I know. Do you really have to point out the obvious? No, cool it down, guys. Can't tell if your best friends or worst enemies. Excuse me. Please don't associate with you, this goof. I certainly don't want that either. Alright. Let's have a feast at Julie's restaurant once this is over. The tab's on me. Yeah! Greetings, dear guests. You seem well acquainted with each other. Who are you? Prepare yourselves. There is no need to be so wary. Your ordeal has not started yet. I am Angela, director and librarian of my role's namesake. Nice to meet you. I'm San from the Streetlight office. We were brought here by the invitation. Something I'd like to ask about it. What is it? I actually retrieved this invitation from another person, not directly from you. Are we still eligible? Yes, indeed. The invitation eventually reached you, dear guests. You signed your name with your own will. Everything has worked out as intended. I see. May you find your book in this place. Huh. She was a nicer person than I thought. Did that look like a human to you? I mean, she did have the shape of a person, but something about her didn't feel right. I can't exactly put it to words. She probably is a machine. Didn't expect to see a machine so similar to a human being. Let's focus on our work. Once again, let's back off as soon as you feel that you're in danger. Alrighty, we've got San, Mars, and Lulu. Versus just Malkuth and Ashley. Let's do this. Let's start right off the bat with some strong cards. Pummel the shit out of them. Like that. Perfect. Oh, that's Mars dead. And Lulu has fled. First one of the guests to actually flee from a fight. Bonk. Bonk. He's backing off too. So the only person we actually managed to get there was Mars. Curtain call for the reception of the Streetlight office. The only book we got on offer was the Book of Mars. They're still rookies. It's not a good idea for fixers to form such tight bonds with each other. Well, I guess this will be a lesson for them. You talk as if you're used to all this.
나야.
Oh, I've already grown past that phase and some more too. Forming bonds aren't bad per se, but there's just too much risk associated with it. A real deal fixers know when to cut things
상대의
off.
상실에
You mean to keep enough distance from people so that you won't feel hurt from their losses?
무엇보다
Yep,
죽음을
it's
받아들일
just ironic
각오도
that
없는
people who aren't even
녀석들이
mentally prepared to face death are
누군가의
applying for a
목숨을
job that
빼앗는
involves
일을 하는
killing in the
것
first place.
문학이라.
Literature,
도시와
huh?
이만큼 안
This has
어울리는
got to be the
분야도
most
없겠지.
unfitting category for the city.
안녕하세요.
Hello, I'm
문학의
Han.
층을
I'm in charge
담당하는
of the floor of
지정사서.
literature.
안녕, 난
Hey,
롤란이야.
I'm Roland,
엔젤라를
elder of
여러
Angela in
가지로
several ways. I see.
혹시 너도
Don't tell me.
엔젤라한테 안 좋은
Do you also
감정을
happen to
가지고
hold
있니?
some sort of grudge against Angela?
호의적이라고는
I'm not at all
절대 말할
friendly
수
towards her,
없겠죠.
that's for certain.
하지만
But we made a deal with her, so we're obligated to help her without complaint.
밤날이
Oh
깜깜하구만.
boy, future ain't looking
다들
too bright.
하나같이 엔젤라에
Everyone's
대해
got a problem
불만이
with
많. 그
Angela.
녀석은 대체
What
무슨
the heck
짓을
she do
저질렀던
deserve
거야?
this reputation?
용서받지 못할 일을
She's done something
했죠.
unforgivable, just like I did in the
예전에
past.
다른 건 몰라도
I still don't know a whole lot about this
확실히
place,
알겠어.
but I can see one thing.
도서관과 사서
Something's
전부
terribly messed
뭔가
up with the library
단단히
and
꼬여
staff.
있다는 거. 언젠가
Can
풀릴
all
수
this
있긴
even
한
be
거야.
resolved at some
풀릴지는
point?
모르겠지만
I can't answer that for
결과는 볼 수
sure,
있을
but
거예요.
you'll get to see the
이
result.
거래에는
After all, there is a
명확한
clear end to
끝이
this deal.
엔젤라가 가려는
If you
길을
follow Angela along her journey to
만약
the end, you
당신이
will find
끝까지
out.
함께
벌써부터 막막하다.
This is frustrating already.
손님은 손님대로
I have
대접하고
guests to receive and
안에서는
librarians to
사서들.
take
적어도
care
도서관
of. Can't we all
안에서는
be good
다
friends
같이
in the
사이좋게
library at least?
롤랑 씨가 가져다
Among the
주는
books you
책에서
bring, I will be sorting those about the
저는
literature
책이
of the city.
쌓여가다 보면
As you collect more books, you might be able to find answers to the questions,
씨가
whether you like it or not.
엔젤라가 뜬구름 잡는 소리
We're
하지
finally
말라는
starting to
이유를
get
알
why
것
Angela
같기도
hates
하구만.
roundabout
그래,
speech
그래.
so much.
이렇게
Alright,
된 거
fine.
내가
I get digging to the
어떻게든
bottom
속
of this mystery
시원하게
now that I've
파헤쳐.
gotten into this
힘내세요.
mess.
롤랑
Good
씨.
luck, Mr. Roland.
따뜻한
My thanks for your
응원.
supportive words, Miss Hod. Roland is not exactly the most pleased with his current state of things, but anyways, I am definitely going to burn this book, as even though we got one copy of it, I'll make sure to kill Mars next time, but more importantly, this book contains Mars's key page. This is our first instance of the speed ability, which is extremely powerful. This gives you an extra speed dice slot, meaning that we can now use 2 attacks by default. This is very powerful and is going immediately onto Malkuth with 0 hesitation. This is just... Having 2 speed dice slots is extremely powerful. So that means you can perform twice as many attacks, do twice as many actions, and potentially kill twice as many people. But that's besides the point. In addition, Mars's page also has Talent, which deals +1 stagger damage to enemies with lower speed. It's honestly a pretty good ability. For an early key page like this. Plus, it's also got solid speed, solid HP, and stagger resist. It's all good stuff. Plus, it even has endured slash resistance and then normal resistance on blunt and pierce. So this is honestly like just flat out one of, if not the best key page you can get in the early game. 10 out of 10, no criticisms from me. This is that good shit. Anyways, let's put this thing together, shall we? Something like... I want to do 1 deflect, I think. Cooking Prep's also a good card for this early in the game. What else? I guess Struggle and Overpower are also good. Yeah, that seems solid. But now we gotta go back in and beat up Mars more. We need Mars's book in order to actually continue the story, and also we need more of his combat pages. But yeah, now we got 2 speed dice slot. Hell yeah! How the fuck do we even do a Nuzlock for Library of Ruina? That was something that I had to do a bit of figuring out myself when I was setting up the rules for it. The rule is mainly that when a key page dies, when like a librarian wielding a key page dies in combat, you can't use that key page anymore. That includes if the key page gets, that includes the librarian's default key page, so if they die without a key page equipped, they have to equip a key page to go into fights. I'm still if a key page has died, I'm still allowing you to attribute it to other key pages. It's definitely a bit of a funky rule set, and it's something that is a bit difficult to set up with a game like Library of Ruina, but I'm doing my best to try to come up with a format that fits the game well. Like I said, it's very difficult to do, but I'm trying my best. Gonna assume only mention key pages you can use right now, and not ones like Start of the City. I mean, you can mention those key pages late. You can talk about those key pages, yeah. I don't really mind. The spoilers for people in chat. Well, I've already clued through the game, but if you would rather not say because you were worried about spoiling people in chat, then I am 100% appreciative of that. Like I said, it's honestly up to you. Only care for spoiling the streamer. That's fair. Answer. Red Mist and Chow pages are going to be very fun when you die to them. Oh yeah! Yep, I am well aware of how hellish this is going to be in the late game. I've got a bit of a ways to go before I have to deal with Zhao and the Red Mist, but Lord knows that's going to be a fun, quote-unquote, time. It'll also be very fun when the purple tier teleports to a floor that I do not have fully set up. So that one's also gonna be very fun. Black Silence's key page. I have been trying to figure out the rule when it comes to stuff like the character exclusive key pages. The key pages where it's like, oh, you only, like, this key page is grafted onto the character. I feel like since that key page is, like, only specific to that character, and considering that the Black Silence is only ever really used for, like, solo fights once you properly get him, I feel like it's perfectly fine to have it as, like, infinite tries for that key page as long as we're not abusing it. Like, if it's only, like, infinite tries on the key page for, like, the solo fights where he's mandatory for. Like, if a key page is mandatory for a fight, like, for example, using, like, Bina for certain... Using, like, Bina or the Black Silence, and the key page is grafted onto a character, then I don't really see much of a problem with giving them, like, a pass from the Nuzlock rules kind of thing. Bina's realization is probably going to be suffering. Yep! Yep, it is. Like I said, I've been trying to work out, like, the whole exception for that. I've started calling it Bina Clause. Terribly sorry. It's all my fault the job went wrong. We're taking our hands off the library for now. This was out of our scope to begin with. I already sent a report to this why. What? What about Mars? Was his death pointless then? I really am sorry. You can blame me all you want. I misjudged. Our profession is peacekeeping, not exploration or combat. There's a cake in the fridge. Was that you, boss? Cake? No, I didn't buy any cake yet. I'll go outside for a bit. You stupid idiot! It's not like you would all buy cake for others. You said your mother's an amazing fixer. You'd love to show off about the cool weapon she gave you. You bragged so much you'd be just like your mother someday.
저곳에서 죽은 자는
Mars's
책이 되는 거야?
book. That's what happens to the people who die
그
in there?
녀석을 가지고 장난질을 하게
them
두진
toy
않을
with him.
거야.
I'll never
산성대에게
let
얘기를
them.
꺼내더라도
Son will totally try to
말리겠지.
stop me if I bring this up.
단독으로라도 가는
I'll go there
거야.
on my own.
아는
Got friends to
녀석들도 좀
help me
있으니까.
too.
이건 좀 마음 아프겠는데.
Boy, this is
Cannon ball.
frankly heartbreaking. Shouldn't have seen that.
정에 연연하면 안 된다고
That's
말한
funny, coming from the one who
그런
gave a
말을
speech
하니까
about how
웃기네.
fixers shouldn't cling to
그건
bonds.
그거고.
That's that,
이건
and this is
이거지.
this.
그래도 일일이
Still,
반응하는 자기
reacting to
손해야.
every bit of loss is a waste of
감수하고
energy.
사는 거니까.
Everybody lives with burdens to
나에게도
bear.
안타까운
I have
일이
my share of
있고
unfortunate events, and so do
상대에게도
others.
그리고 그걸 동의
And
없이
it's rude to
드러내는 건
expose that
무례한
without the
거야.
listener's agreement.
괜한 걸 알면 신경
They'll be
쓰이잖아.
bothered to learn something that you didn't really have to
가뜩이나 내가
know.
안고 있는 짐도 많은데
We're already
자기가
carrying
더
a hefty load of
힘들다고
emotional
유세 부리는
baggage.
건가 싶고
Telling them your sob story feels like you'll be
동정심과
showing off how
함께
heavy your own baggage
불쾌감도
is.
딸려오지.
I feel a bit of sympathy, but they'll also be displeased. Yeah, his wife died, Lamau! Just, yeah, his wife died, lol. Look at this widow, his wife died, ha!
슬퍼도 적당히
Don't
드러내고
overexpress your feelings,
기뻐도
whether you're happy or
적당히
sad.
드러내고
Say goodbye to each other with the
상황에 맞는
appropriate
적당한
words.
인사를
It's all for
주고받는
the sake of
게
each
오히려
other.
그게 더 피곤해 보이는데.
That sounds even more tiring to me. And that certainly wasn't the case when your wife died. Wait, what? How do you know about that? Nothing. What the fuck?
무엇보다 내가 감정이
I shouldn't let my
휘둘려서
feelings distract me from
도서관
my
일을
librarian
못하면
work, most
어떻게든
of all.
네가 도시에
Gotta stay
책을 놓을 수
level-headed and help you collect
있도록
books about the
도와줘야
city.
맞아.
You're right.
필요가
As soon as you
없어지는
become
순간
useless to me, I'll dispose of
그럼
you.
상사님의
And I'll go back to my
말대로
duties of
저도
being a
살아남기 위해
useful servant for the sake of my
안녕.
survival, ma'am. Greeting.
닥쳐.
Shut up. I don't need a
가증스러운
greeting from a
기계의
despicable
인석
piece of
따위
junk.
이곳에 있는 맛의
I'm here for
책을
Mars's
얻고
book. I'll get his book,
모든
I'll kill all the
괴물을 다
monsters
죽인
here,
다음
and I'll blow your head
마지막에
clean off.
말씀하신 그건
I'm
힘드실
afraid your
텐데요.
third
손님.
statement is going to be difficult for you to fulfill, dear guest.
닥치라고 했지.
I said shut up.
부디
May you find your book in this place. Youch! Definitely a harsh reception, but I mean, then again, she did have the person who she probably had some kind of burgeoning crush or something on die in front of her here, so... No, yeah, it definitely makes sense that she'd just be a tad bit pissed off about the whole situation. Makes perfect sense that she'd just be just a tiny bit peeved about everything. The extra stagger damage to characters with lower speed die is extremely busted for this early in the game. Like, you can very easily stagger characters. What is with the text? What text? So I'm either listening to Gone Angels, Iron Lows, or Hell We Live Lament. Ooh, those are good songs. Oh wait, did you mean like the guest inviting? Ah, yeah. If you're talking about when Angela was talking to Mars and there was like the distortion of the text, I think that's because whenever the game shows like characters talking during a scene of like one of the characters having just attacked someone, they throw like a bit of a distortion effect on the text. For like the blood and everything. It's a nice aesthetic choice, but it does also make the text a bit harder to read. Like, I will admit, it definitely makes the text a bit harder to read. We saw it earlier with the Hook Office when they tried to attack Angela. The same thing happened earlier. But yeah, it's... Hey, Donovan Xavier, thank you for the follow. Super appreciate it. Welcome on in. Hope you've been having a great time so far. But yeah, it is a nice detail, but again, like I said, it is pretty annoying when you're like trying to actually read the text. I have no clue about the lower two urban ranks. That's fair. The lower ranks are definitely a fair bit less interesting compared to the chaos that goes on in the upper ranks. Plus, in the upper ranks, the stories get a lot more complex and intertwining as the library kickstarts a hilariously expansive butterfly effect in various scenarios. And by hilariously expansive, I mean utterly horrifying. But that's that, and this is this. Oh boy. How the hell did I actually manage to deflect that? Holy shit. Also, from what I know, 20% of the PM community wants Vina to step on them. I'm part of that 20%. I am wholeheartedly, unapologetically part of that 20%. Vina is indeed very hot. She's also very mysterious, but still very hot. Oh god, I don't have any low-cost pages. Shit, that is, multi-hit's really gonna hurt. Fuck. I don't have any interception options either. Am I really about to lose my character here? Okay, we're fine. Phew. I thought I had just fucked up and lost one of the best early game character pages. I was gonna be like, son of a bitch. But thankfully, I don't think we have. We are cutting it a bit fucking close though. Oh my god, really? Am I really about to lose this? Damn it! Fuck, well, hey. No, yeah, that still counts. That technically still counts. Malkuth still died.
죄책감 같은 건 없어?
Damn. Feeling guilt or any strong emotions? You're lying if I said I feel nothing, but I've already seen plenty of these cheap tragedies. Been the victim myself a whole lot of times too. Sound like a seasoned veteran for someone who introduced himself as a washed-up fixer. I have my reasons. What? Are you curious? You said it's a rude thing to do, didn't you? Besides, I could simply turn you into a book and read your story if I really wanted to know. Whoa, now let's not go there yet. Well, how about you? Curious to know what our head librarian thinks. Me? I'm indifferent. I've also seen relationships and scripted deaths too many times to repeat. So I've been trying to run a system where people are free to choose their own destiny this time around, free from any coercion. I mean, sure, they all read the warnings on the invitations and agree to those terms by signing the names, but it's still a bit dirty, you know? You're unkillable and I can revive whenever I die. Again with that, I thought you said my method is fair. Yeah, you aren't wrong. Much more polite and fair than most things in the city. But that is fucking unfortunate, man. Like, even though Mars died, even though she died at the same time, it still technically counts as a death, so unfortunately, we are not allowed to use, Mars's key page directly anymore. We can attribute it, we just can't use it anymore. But still, it's such a damn shame, man. Unfortunately, and we didn't even get Lulu's fucking key page for it. God damn it. Hey. That is just... I mean, I don't want to compromise the integrity of the run this early. What do you think, chat? Do you guys think it still counts? I'm leaning towards it still counting, but I'm not really sure. It counts? Yeah. It's just hard for me to give it up because it's such a good key page, man, but unfortunate. I mean, frankly, I just needed somebody in chat to confirm. Frankly, I just needed somebody in chat to kind of, like, give me the nudge that I needed to confirm that it does count. It was just kind of like I needed a confirmation more than anything else. Of like, yeah, you fucked up. Well, I think we're not too far off from being able to attribute key pages anyway, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Theoretically, if we need to, we could always just recreate Mars's key page by just attributing another one with speed die if we really need it. Hence why I gave the rule of, like, you're still allowed to attribute dead key pages. Pokemon dies even after the opponent loses. Yeah, that's true. I'd say that that's like a good way to... Oh, wait. Damn it, I accidentally entered this fight with a default, loadout for HOD. Well, this should be fine. Like, this fight's more of a gimmick fight anyway. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a death for default HOD right now. It's just a matter of me getting the timing right for this. Yeah, see? That's the thing about today's Shylock. It's not necessarily too difficult of a fight. It's just like it's a gimmick fight more than anything else. Because the whole thing about it is that the dice gain different amounts of power based on the current face. So it's like, oh, you know, you stop it on the happy face, it doesn't do much damage. See? I can even compensate for my worst fuck-ups if I fuck-ups with some of my game knowledge. Okay, I'm sorry, I went quiet for a second there because I wanted to make sure that I actually got it. Yeah, it's a matter of timing more than anything, exactly. I probably should have clicked it there, damn it. Yeah, see? We're fine. Hot's still alive. It's fine. Abnormality second warning is IMO worst second warning. Honestly, yeah. I like the original second I like the original like second trumpet theme from the original LobCorp just because it's like a dubstep breakcore kind of sounding track, which I really vibe with. Also, I really find it funny how inadvertently a bunch of Maxor's fans ended up finding Lobotomy Corporation music because of his Ultra Kill video, because he used that as the the fucking theme for V2. Like that was honestly really funny in my opinion.
고마워요, 롤랑.
Thanks,
롤랑
Mr.
씨는
Roland.
무슨
You don't need to be so
편하게 말
courteous. You can
놓고
drop the Mister and just call me Roland.
훨씬 좋네.
Can I? Roland? Much better.
역시 말을 바로
A
편하게
certain
해주는
HOD mod? I do not
어색하네.
know of certain HOD mod. Which mod for HOD are you referring to? HOD? Oh boy. Thankfully, my web browser does not show up on stream. Oh! Yeah, no, I think I know what that is! Gee! Gee, I wonder what it could be! Gee, I wonder. Good grief. No other mod like that for other characters I've searched. Well, that's because it's HOD. HOD is soft girl. But yeah, I think I understand what mod you mean. I'd look at it more in depth, but A, I don't want to stall the stream, and B, I don't remember my Thunder mod database password. Or my Nexus mods password, or whatever the hell. Well, I'll give it one more shot. Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't remember. No, whatever. I'm not downloading it. It's just the website requires you to log in to actually look at the mod because of adult content. But I think I can pretty much get the gist of it. It's kind of awkward to speak like this right away. We'll get used to it. How's the collection going, by the way? Not sure if the city has anything worth being called literature.
저마다의 삶이
Seems like each
문학인
person's
것
life
같아.
counts as a work of literature.
각자
The story of one's life is
자신만의
written out
삶이,
like a book of its
그리고
own. And in that
그
story,
속에는
comedy and
희극과
tragedy intertwine in a complex
마냥
way.
나쁜
Two
사람만
attacks of
있는 것도
1-minute
아니고
animations. Oh my.
마냥
It's hard to
선한
define anyone as
사람만
pure
있는
evil
것도
or pure
아니야.
good for that
다
matter.
개인적인 사정이란 게
Everyone has
있으니까.
their own personal
그래서
affairs.
고민이야.
That's why I'm wondering if it's really okay to blindly
누군가를
hate someone.
우리는
The fixers from the
책을
streetlight
위해서
office were like a happy family.
다르던 사무소의 해결사들을
Hey,
죽여버렸어.
did I, well, thank you for the follow. Super appreciate it. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good one.
아무리 그들이
I understand it was
선택해서
their
이곳
choice to come
우리에겐
here, and we have our own
반드시
goal
이뤄야
to
하는
achieve, but still, feels like I'm just
자기
making
변명만-
excuses for myself.
근데 또 그 개인적인
see,
사정이란 거 다
Taking everyone's
따져가다
personal
보면
affairs into
머리만 아파하게
consideration is only going to
되거든.
end up giving you a
그래서
headache.
뭐가 뭔지 모르게
You'd
될 때가
sometimes be
있어.
just as confused as if you hadn't thought about it at all.
도덕적 규범이니
Thinking about moral
근본적인
standards and
원인이
fundamental
뭐니
causes and all
생각하다
that only
보면
makes
내
everything
마음에
blurry.
터질 것 같은 응어리
And all the while, your heart is about to burst from the emotional baggage that won't go
그럴
away.
때 마음
John
가는
Roland
대로만
can be
꿰뚫는
great
거야.
friends. Oh,
더
they
알려고
probably
하지도
could, yeah.
않고 알
Times
필요도
like
없어.
that, you just go straight to where your heart leads. No need to
그게
no
편한
need to
거야.
learn or know any further. It's much easier that way.
논란의 해결사로서의
That's your advice as a seasoned
뭐
fixer,
그렇지?
Roland? I guess
내가
so.
좋아하는 말이
Here's
있어.
a favorite phrase of
그건
mine.
그거고
That's that,
이건
and
이거다.
this is this.
모든 이들의
We
사정을
don't live in a
떠안을 수
world
있는
that can
세상이
embrace
아니야.
everyone's private matters.
체념한 듯한
Sounds like
말이네.
you've come to terms with
당연히
reality.
체념한 지
Did
오래지.
ages
그래도
ago.
역시 그게
It surely was an
편하더라고.
easy and comfy way to live, all
흘러가는
things
대로
considered.
몸을 맡기는
Just go
거지.
with the flow wherever it may
조언은
lead.
고마워.
Thanks for the advice.
나도
I need to think about this
좀
topic a little more.
하지만
But
그건 그거고
the phrase you mentioned might
이건
give you comfort
이거다라는
for a short
말은
while, but it doesn't sound like a
잠시
motto that will
위안이 될
redeem
수
your
있다.
life.
아,
Husband for, I don't know if you can know the time gap between the freeing of the books and Zhao's reception. Ah, yeah, that's true.
뭐
Well,
받아들이는
suppose people
것도
have their own ways of
각자의 책은 여기
interpreting
두고 갈
things.
테니
I'll leave the books
앞으로도-
here. See you later then. Anyways, we got access to Hod's page. This one's really interesting. We've got social distancing and shyness, which both boost block dice. Specifically, social distancing gives block dice 1 to 2 power, and you deal +2 to 7 stagger damage on a reflect. And shyness boosts all block dice on the page equal to the number of defensive dice on the page. Meanwhile, look of the day causes the librarian's face to constantly shift, and the dice gain different power depending on the current face. Minimum -2, max +2. Anger is fierce, which I don't remember the specifics of what the anger is fierce text means. Anyways, we've reached Urban Legend tier. And I savor the magnificent fragrance of the sacrifice, which fills my room.
안개 속에 무너진
Tell me,
둥지는
who do you think will be the one to
결국
get
누구
through all
손에
this
들어갈
mist and
것
claim the
같나?
collapsed nest at the
오랜만에
end?
죄다 죽어가는 상황을
It's hard for me to
보아하니
predict the outcome of
저도
this event,
예측은 못하겠네요,
Underboss.
원더보스.
It has been a while since we were involved in bloodshed on this scale.
하지만 적어도
However, it
검지가
is certain
노른자를
that we should not
차지하게
allow
둘 수
the
없다는
index to
건
take over the yoke.
확실하죠.
그렇지.
Well said. The
그래도
middle, the
중지와
ring, and the
약지,
pinky seem to
그리고
be too
소지는
occupied with their own business to
적어도
take
이
part in this
항쟁에
strife.
끼어들 여유가
So that's a
없어.
이야기
relief.
들어보셨어요?
Have you heard of the library?
이번에 도시전설로
Recently appointed urban
지정된
legend?
도서관이 어쩌면
Perhaps it'll be
이
closely
둥지와
related to this
밀접한
nest
관련이
we're so
있을지
concerned
몰라요.
with.
이야기해보게.
Go on.
이제 슬슬
Looks like we're about to
제대로 된
ride a
흐름이
real big
들어갔다.
wave.
무슨 일은?
What wave?
이대로만 가면
At this rate, the
도서관은
library will soon be
하나의
exalted to
해에
being an urban
도시
legend from
전설로
its status as
지정될
an
거야.
urban myth.
싸구려 도시
The
괴담들은
city's brimming with
차가운
cheap
수지.
urban myths.
어느
It's
것이
really hard to tell which are
진실인지
real and which are made up.
무엇보다
What's
대부분의
more, a
괴담은
lot of those urban myths turn
사실관계를
out to be pretty
파헤치고
plain and
보면
boring when you get down to the
생각보다
root of it
도시
all.
괴담이
The real
재밌어지기
fun
시작하는
begins when an
건
urban myth gets
도시
recognized as
전설로
an urban
인정받죠.
legend.
또 필요 이상으로
You're
돌려말하면
being too roundabout.
협회에서 지정한
If the
등급이
association designates
상승한다면
us with a higher grade, we can
전보다
expect to
정보의
attract
가치가
guests of
높은
higher
손님들이
classes with more
온다는 거지?
valuable information. Is that what you're trying to
그거야.
say? You got it.
도시에서 일이
Urban legends get
벌어진다
talked about.
하면
People begin to
도시
acknowledge us as an
전설부터
actual
시작되는
phenomenon in
거지.
the city that's worth their attention.
어릴 땐 말이야.
You see, when I was a kid, my
할머니가
grandma used to
들려주던
tell me
도시
tales of all
전설
sorts of
이야기만
urban
들어도
legends.
벌벌
It all sent a
떨어지고
chill down my spine.
짜증나게
Man,
옛날
bugger.
생각나네.
Didn't want to be reminded of the old
가족?
days. Family?
그래.
Yeah,
뭐,
family. Lost them all
아무도
though.
남지 않았지만.
지금은
So
가족이
you're without a
없다는 거야?
family
이제
now?
곁에는 한 명도
No one's
없어.
with me anymore.
난
I was
할머니,
raised by my
부모님은
grandma.
어떻게
Don't know how my
돌아가시는지도
parents
모르고.
passed away and grandma
할머니는
disappeared
어느 날
without notice one
죽었고.
day. Then,
아니다. 뭐 평범한
never
일이야.
mind. It's nothing
무슨 말이
special.
하고 싶은 거야?
What are you even trying to say?
전에 말했었지.
Anyway, you said your
너의
goal is to get
목적은
this one book that will give you
자유.
freedom,
맞아.
right? That's right.
난
I want the
이곳에서
freedom to leave this
나갈 수
place
있는
and the freedom to
자유와
live as myself.
그리고
And the freedom to
잊어버릴 수
forget.
그러면 책을 모으는
Then,
이유에는
is freedom the only reason you're
완전한
trying to gather all these
반은
books?
맞고
You're only half
난
right.
오랜 시간
During my
땅속에
time living
처박혀서
underground, I can only pick up
파편적인
fragmented
정보들만
information
주워담아
about the outside
똑같은
world.
이야기만
I've seen and heard the same
반복해서
stories
듣고 본
over
거지.
and over and over
이제는
again. I
새로운
want to hear
이야기를
new
듣고
stories
싶어.
now. I want to see new
그래서
faces. That's
세상의
also why I'm
모든 것이
looking for the
담긴
book that
책을
contains
원해.
everything about the
그리고
world.
동시에
And a little bit
작은
of revenge
복수를
at the
원해.
same time.
주라.
Revenge, huh? For what?
나를 이 꼴로
I'm
만든
taking revenge on the
가증스러운
abominable
사람과
person and the
세상에
world that
대한
made me
복수.
into what I
그 사람이
am.
꿈꿨던 걸
Only after I've
철저히
completely and
무너뜨린
thoroughly
후에
destroyed everything he dreamed for
비로소
will my
내
freedom
자유를
finally be
완성할 수
whole.
이 붉은
So you'll eventually
초대장을
get the
따라가다
freedom and
보면
vengeance you want if you
네가
keep,
원하는
if
자유와
you keep following
복수에
where this
닿게
red
된다는
invitation
거지.
leads us to.
정확히는 자유와
It'll guide me to
복수를
the book
이루게
that will let
해줄
me
책을
achieve
넣는
such
거야.
things, to be
어떤
exact.
형태로 내 소망이
How exactly those
이루어질지는
wishes will come
나는
true is
나와
beyond me.
도서관을
The one
완성시켜줄
book that will complete me in the
내가
library.
원하는 모든
If
것이
I can find that one
적혀있을
absolute
그 단
book
하나의
containing
책을
everything I
찾게
want to know,
된다면
all will be
잠깐.
resolved.
책만
Wait,
찾으면 될
hold
거라고?
on. That's your whole plan?
방법을 확실히
Just
아는 게
find the
아니야.
book? You don't exactly know how to earn that freedom
확실히
and
아는
stuff?
것은 하나야.
The only thing I know for
이
sure is that
초대장의
I
끝에
myself will become whole at
나는
the end of the
나로서
journey led by the
완전히 도서관은
invitation.
무한한 공간이야.
The library has infinite
무한히
space.
손님들의
I can
책을
extract
추출하고
infinite books from
소장할 수
countless
있어.
guests and store them all if I
하지만
wanted to.
목적
But
없이
simply collecting
쓰레기만
books that are
가득한
mostly
책들을
filled with
수집하는
junk without a
것은
clear purpose in mind
굉장히
is rather inefficient,
비효율적이잖아.
don't you think?
그래서 전에 말했듯
Hence the invitation's
초대장은
guidance along the path that leads to
도서관에서
the book I
내가
wish to
원하는
obtain, as
책에
explained
도달할 수
before.
있는 길.
그 단 하나의 책을 얻었다 쳐.
Let's say you got the one
그런데
book
결국에
somehow,
그 책이
but
너를
you don't
어떤
even know
형태로 완전하게
exactly
해줄지
what it'll do to make you
모르는 것이지.
whole.
그런 건 상관없어.
I don't care what happens to me. I'll be
결과만
satisfied with
얻을 수
anything as long as I can get the
무서울
results.
정도의
It's almost
침묵이구나.
scary how tenacious you are.
예술 분야 지정 사서.
Nuzlock,
네.
librarian of the arts. Is
엄청
lying flat on the
퍼즐해졌는데?
floor, huh? Nuzlock casts a glimpse at Roland while still lying on the floor before turning back again.
책도 어질러져
Huh,
있고.
the books are all
일할
over the
생각이
floor
없어
too.
보이는구만.
I'm sensing zero motivation to work.
저기요.
Hello,
앞장서서
Mr.
내
Nuzlock,
짝씨.
patron librarian. again.
네가 이렇게 비협조적이면
You keep refusing to
난
cooperate.
엔젤라한테
Angela's gonna raise hell with
일어나
me.
주십시오.
Please wake up.
모든 힘을 쏟아부었는데
Know how it feels to give
그게 다
everything you got to
망가진
make
기분.
something only to see it
알아,
completely
정말
break.
열심히
I
모래성을
tried so hard building a
만들었는데
sandcastle and it got swept
파도에
away by the
모래성을
waves.
부숴버린 건
And I bet it was
보나마나
Angela who made those
또다시 눈을
waves.
뜨고
I was woken up once again,
이번에도 원치
called
않는
on
일에
to take
부름을
charge of the work I
받았네요.
don't want yet again.
잠시
Leave me
내버려둬요.
alone for a bit. I want to go back to
아이고
sleep.
머리야.
Boy, oh
어째
boy,
하나같이
how could every one of
엔젤라를
you hate
제발
Angela so much?
도와주라.
Please
같은
help me out,
처지끼리.
will ya? We're in the same boat, you know. He barely sits up.
당신도 참
You're pitiable,
불쌍하네요.
man. How'd you end up in a place like this?
나도
I know, right?
내가
I'm
불쌍하다고
starting to
생각해.
think I'm in a pretty miserable
그러니까
spot too.
제발.
So can you please spare some of that sympathy for us hard working together?
아시다시피
You probably know already, but I'm Nuzlock, librarian on the artsy
나도
floor.
정식으로 인사할게.
And a proper introduction for me as well.
엔젤라를
I'm
도와
Roland,
도서관
Angel's
일을
new
하고
servant
있다.
and library worker. I
어떻게
gotta wonder,
맡은
how am I
일들이
always left with the kind of work
하나같이
that
저와
doesn't
맞지
suit me at
않는
all?
것뿐일까.
그러게 말이다.
You tell me. Never thought I'd work in the
나도
library of all
도서관에서
places
일하게 될
either.
줄은 아무튼
Anyway, you're gonna be
책을
sorting books
가져다
related to the
주면
arts from the bunch I
너
bring,
그렇다고
right?
하더라고요.
Apparently. You go back now since we're
끝났으니.
done exchanging names and all. He lies back down on the floor again. Look, you can lie down all you want, but you're
넣는
gonna
건
do your
좋은데.
work,
안 하고
right?
싶어도
It's
안
not like I
할
have a
수가
choice in
없는
that matter. I'm counting on
믿고
you.
있을게.
Please make sure to work, alright? He shoos Roland away. Youch. So I think, real quick, before I go and... finish farming up the, Before I go and finish farming up the rest of the pages, rest of Lulu's pages, so that way I can actually have something, like, decently competitive, I'm gonna get the last librarian for the floor of, gonna get the third librarian for this floor, so that way that last fight is an even, one with 3-on-3. See, I did empty out Mars' key page. Just wanted to make sure. I'm just checking what pages I actually have filled up, if I need to empty out any of them. Let's see. There we go. Alright, Book of the Heart of Aspiration. So we got the Heart of Aspiration itself, and then we also got the lungs. Aspiration. Lose 4 HP if character did not deal any damage for a scene. And then the heart itself mostly just uses defensive die for the first phase. Is the body has been discovered supposed to be a Danganronpa reference? Indeed. Indeed it is. Oh, it's just a goofy joke because of, for a while I struggled with, like, self-confidence issues or whatever, so I made that redeem as kind of like a jokey little thing of, like, me trying to, kind of like a jokey thing of, like, me trying to be nicer to myself. Or, well, it's more like my chat forcing me to be nicer to myself. So yeah, it's just more of a jokey thing than anything. What the hell is a Senran Kagura? I forgot that redeem was in there. That one you'll have to find out for yourself. Is, for lack of a better term, it's, for lack of a better way to describe it, it's anime titty game that is somehow allowed on Twitch. Description reminds me of Blue Archive. The two are not very comparable, at least in my opinion anyway. Bonk. Stab. Shank. Fuck, just Twitch the last Senran Kagura. It's because there's technically no bits actually shown. Like, because there's not technically any bits actually shown, you're allowed to play it. Yeah, so yeah, it's because they technically don't show any actual bits. Because they don't show any actual bits, you're just allowed to play them on Twitch. I have, like, no idea how you're allowed to get away with it, but apparently you are. Duh.
엔젤라. 다들 불렀어.
You play Nikkei on Twitch? I don't know if that one is... Well, I mean, you could check to see if there's a category for it. If there's a category for it, you probably can. Yeah, you can. Goddess of Victory Nikkei. Yeah, you can. I don't know if anybody willingly streams it, but yeah. Hail, Angela. I called them all.
말쿠트,
Malkuth, Yesod, Netzach, and Han.
오랜만에
It's been a
다
while
같이 있는
since I
모습을
all
보게 되네.
saw you all gathered up in one place. Angela,
우리를 한 곳에 모아놓고서
what are you trying to accomplish with
특별한 건
this?
아니야.
Nothing special.
그냥
Simply want to have a
서로
meet up
얼굴
with all of you.
네.
Alright, let's loosen up a bit, everybody.
당신과 할
We got
얘기가
nothing to talk
없어요.
about with the likes of you.
아니, 난 있어.
Wait, I do.
빛을 회수하는
I have a
과정에
problem with the
문제가
process
있어.
of retrieving the light.
손님을 죽여 책으로
You
만드는
don't
게
want to kill the
싫은
guests with
거지?
your own hands,
너희가
do you?
직접
And you
고통받기도
don't want to
싫고
suffer
말이야.
yourselves either.
맞아.
He's
아무리
right. Even though the
손님들이
guests chose to come in
또다시
here, we
사람을
shouldn't drive
죽음으로
people to
내몰면서
death as part of our
일을
work
하는 건
again.
말도 안 돼.
It's not right.
100명을 죽이는 건 괜찮으면서
You were all right with killing
한 명을
hundreds upon
죽이는 게
hundreds of employees,
문제가
but now you're
있다고
upset
말하는
about killing a few strangers?
날
Hypocrites.
너희와
Don't lump
같이
me in with
취급하지
your
않는
lot,
중
will
난
you?
적어도
At least I seek
그들에게
agreement
동의를
from
할 말이
them.
있는 냈자.
Got anything left to say,
우리는
Netzach?
그게 마지막이라고 생각했어.
We thought that would be the last
더
of it.
이상은
Not any more of
어쩔 수
this.
없어 넷자흐.
We don't have a choice,
우리가 할
Netzach.
수 있는 말은 없는
Nothing
거야.
we say will get through to her anyway.
엔젤라,
You're still so
끝까지
cold and
냉정하고
heartless,
비정하네요.
Angela.
감정적으로
don't be so
몰아붙이지.
emotional
너희도
now.
이런 방법밖에
I know you all
없다고.
realize deep
속으로
inside your
인정하고
hearts
있는
that
건
this is the
이러고
only
싶지
way.
않았다면
If you didn't want this, you
처음부터
shouldn't have
거리를
tried to
하지
stop me in the
말았어야지.
first
다들
place.
나가도록 해.
Leave, all of you. Lore! And also some very funny cards. Urging is just a solid max HP increase, that's good. Pulsation's really interesting. You gain 1 to 2 strength at the end of each scene, but if you don't deal any damage with offensive dice, you lose 25% of your max HP. And then Fervent Beats is something I'll probably never resort to in this series. The librarian dies at the end of the 3rd scene after the page is chosen, but they gain 4 strength, endurance, haste, and protection each scene until death. And all stagger damage resistance is changed to ineffective, so... Like I said, it's very powerful, but I'll probably not be using it. Just due to the fact that, frankly, I don't trust myself. Anyways, let's farm up those Lulu books, and then afterwards I'll probably end off stream. Someone lose 2 times on Oliver's fight. Eh! How do you... You know what? I'm probably better off not asking. Tutorial to the Black Silence. Yep. Like, I didn't really have any problems with that fight. First time I played it, I even got the achievement where you finish. First time I did it, I even got the Furioso kill, so I got the achievement later on. I did with Argalia. The second one was just him being dumb. Nah, that's fair. Being dumb in Library of Ruina, like, sometimes just a single absent-minded decision can cause your death, so, I mean, I kinda understand it there. I kinda get it. So the tutorial, the Black Silence page. I mean, also true, but I don't really know if you could necessarily call it a tutorial. It's more just a fight with the new page, rather than, like... It doesn't really, like, hold your hand on using it. You kind of have to get a feel for how the Black Silence plays yourself. It's like, alright, here's the key page, good luck, kiddo! Rather than, okay, so this is what this page does, and this is what this page does, and hey, did you know that Furioso is a thing? I call it a tutorial anyways. I mean, I can totally see why. It does definitely kind of have the air of fight where thing is first introduced, as opposed to fight where you are being tested on knowledge of things previously known. It's like, hey, you got this fancy new key page now. Now you gotta learn how to use it. Nice. Bonk. 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 This is revenge for what you did to me last time, Lulu. Perish. This is revenge for ruining my Mars key page, you fucker. I guess she really just did kind of pull a, if I can't have Mars, then nobody can. Why did Project Moon add 2 mommies in Library of Ruina? That is a question for Project Moon and nobody else. Hey, nice. We got all 3 of the Lulu key pages. Good stuff. Don't have to do the fight again, thankfully. Yeah, Lulu's key page is really solid. Well, not as good as Mars. Yes, I am still bitter. While it's not as good as Mars's key page, it is still really solid early on, especially for potential burn build. Claiming that's 50% chance to inflict burn on a successful attack is really solid. At least in my opinion, anyway. It's got that good stuff. And a lot of Lulu's key pages actually do a really good job of pairing up with that. Stuff like Taste My Flaming Bat, which actually is a really solid defensive card just on its own. Along with, of course, Set Fire, which is a fantastic damage card. And then just like everything else that's also available that just makes this a really good early game option. I mean, honestly, even though I did lose Mars' key page, I feel like the counter floor is doing perfectly fine at the moment. Plus, again, we are getting up to the point where after that next Urban Legend fight, we're probably going to get the ability to attribute key pages. So it's not exactly the end of the world. Oh, for those of you that don't know what I'm doing at the moment, I'm just keeping track of, before we end off stream, I'm just keeping track of all the key pages we've gotten. I keep track of all of them in a fucking spreadsheet. Like it's legitimately the only option that I really have when it comes to like keeping track of which key pages are actually alive and which ones are dead. So honestly, apart from the two, like, if I'm gonna be honest, embarrassing oopsies at the hands of the Matchstick Girl that did cost me two of Mo's page at the beginning of this run. Honestly, like, the only other death that had, like, any massive impact was Mars, which does suck. Like, I feel like in this run, the deaths that are going to have the most impact are the deaths with, like, a legendary key page. Because you only get one of them. With the purple key pages, you at least get 3 copies of them, so I was able to have 2 embarrassing deaths to the Matchstick Girl, and I still have a Mo page left over to use, but Mars's page is a one and done, which really does suck. Granted, we are going to be able to attribute this key page later, so it's not too big of a deal, but it still really does suck that I messed up in, like, such a bad way. Like, I got dealt such an awful hand during that fight. But, well, no use crying over burned books. I think I'm gonna end things here for tonight. Honestly, this went way better than I expected for my first attempt at a Ruin and Nuzlock. Like, I thought this was going to be an outright shit show, but I mean, it honestly went pretty well. But yeah, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I super appreciate it. Let's go ahead and find someone to raid, shall we? Cue the cursed music.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam.
This is Library of Ruina related, trust. Yep! Someone made this. Roland style is better though. That one's also a good one. That one's also, yeah, I am definitely more like, I do definitely have a bit more of a preference for that one, but I felt like this one kind of fit like the general, like, I was trying to hype myself up before stream, and it kind of fit the general flying by the seat of my pants kind of vibe. let's go raid Rat, why not? So we'll raid mixed roll in 3 and counter 3. Oh yeah, I saw that one too. So many good song mixes that can come out of this game. Probably because it shares a lot of the character-related themes share a lot of leitmotifs, which means they fit together really well. The Beam Brigade is coping after thinking a library of Ruina Nuzlock was a good idea. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Super appreciate it. Join the Discord if you want to be notified of the streams and the other stuff that goes on. On Wednesday, we are going to be starting the next part of our Kingdom Hearts series playthrough. We're going to be playing through Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I'll see you all then. Bye!